Mouth Lounge, episode number 198. I'm Alex, and there's also Addie and Pink.
Hey, hey.
Oh, all right.
Hey,
Pink, what have you got coming out on your channel this week?
Dead by Daylight. And that's it.
All right, Addie,
I have nothing.
I also have nothing, because the situation has not changed. Well, no, the situation has changed, just not the way
Not
we wanted
favorably.
it. Yeah.
Elon Musk took
what-
your money and ran.
Not exactly. I don't know what the fuck the situation is at this point.
Ah,
It would seem that the latest now it can be is the end of October because that's the end of the beta period, and I guess that's when it's just available for everyone. We had kind of signed up to be in the beta, but whatever, I guess.
no, you see, you signed up for the open beta. This is the closed beta.
I don't know. Eddie, what is
Yeah.
coming out on the group channel?
So, on Monday, we have the aptly titled Pink is Confused, Persona 5, Part 4.
I expect that to continue.
Yes. Then, on Tuesday, I believe, we have Smite Part 9, which was... Like, I was going to say, which was recently recorded, but no, that's a lie. That was recorded over the time of like a month. I took 3 sessions and cut them down to 15 minutes because so happened in all of them.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yep. Then on Friday, we have Ratchet and Clank, episode 21.
All right.
And on Saturday, we have whatever the fuck happened to Wario. At least
All
on my
right.
end. That's the newest where in the world is Carmen Sandiego game. Whatever the fuck happened to Wario.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. All right. So, Pink, what have you been up to this past week?
Not a lot, unfortunately. Movies I watched this week. Megamind. Haven't seen that in a while. Have you seen that one?
I have, yes.
Alright,
Oh,
I couldn't
have I?
remember because I knew you despise Will Ferrell, so I didn't know if that was a thing that would turn you away from it or not, but yeah.
I can deal with animated Will Ferrell as long as he didn't. As long as it isn't too much of a Will Ferrell project, you know.
Yeah, very true, very true. Yeah, good movie. It'd been a few years since I've seen it. Feel like I don't remember how I first initially took it way back in 2011 or whenever it released, but I feel like I didn't quite appreciate it then as I do now. So that was fun. I feel like I watched something else, but my mind escapes me. Played a lot of Dead by Daylight as Killer this time around. Actually, all day yesterday, the only thing I played was Killer, just to get a better feel for the other side. It was fun.
Oh, all right.
Played a lot of Pyramid Head. He's a definite favorite of mine. A little bit of Deathslinger, a lot of Pig. I really like Pig, and I like the mechanics, but I feel like she's got a lot going on, and actually isn't all that good. And I feel like if they had concentrated on her in one specific way or another, it could have helped a little bit, but I don't know. I'm not a game developer or designer.
Well, I'd say really you don't have to think about the reverse bear traps except when you knock someone down, you know?
Yeah, she's just got a lot going for her. She's got her old stealth mode. She's got the reverse bear traps. She's got I feel like there's some other sort of mechanic that she has that escapes my mind, but maybe not.
I thought it was only those two.
I think it's only those two. I think it's just that with the reverse bear traps, you also have to concentrate on the jigsaw boxes once survivors have those things on, because that's another thing that you'll have to check on, because, you know, there are bound to be survivors there trying to get the head cages off. So Yeah, I guess that's the third type of thing that had been on my mind. Lots of other bits and ends to concentrate on with her. My favorite thing personally is to save bear traps for the end game because they actually can't escape they can't go through the exit gates with bear traps on. So
Yeah.
my personal favorite thing to do is get rid of the 4 in the game as you usually do, and then bring an add-on that gives you one more. So if you can get it down in the end game, just go ahead and slap it on them, and they'll
Eh,
either try to escape and die miserably, or they'll have to waste time running to the jigsaw boxes and potentially get a timeout game over.
yeah.
Fun stuff. Fun stuff. Um, Pig, Pyramid Head. Lots of Ghostface. I'm sure Mike would be proud of me.
Eh,
Uh, Actually, I really feel he's not that strong, honestly.
yeah, I don't either. Mike, at some point in his early days of playing DBD, just had a bad game against Ghostface, and I think just has held a grudge ever since. Yeah, I don't see what's special about him, really. I think more than anything, I think what Mike dislikes about Ghostface is that Ghostface, his silhouette looks like a survivor. I think that's what Mike hates about him.
Yeah. Could be, because he also really doesn't like Legion, which he actually flip-flopped when I first started playing. He was like, yeah, I like Legion. Nowadays, he's like, no, I hate facing Legion. He's the worst. Yeah, so he must have had a pretty bad experience with Legion as well. Um, yeah, there are only a handful of killers that actually are that survivor hype. But then again, the pig, as you mentioned before, one of his absolute favorites, survivor height, has a stealth mode.
Yeah, but with Pig, I think it's different, not only because she has to crouch to do all that, but when she's standing up, she's very obviously got that gigantic fucking pig head.
This is true, yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
I mean, even when she's
that makes
sneaking, you
sense.
kind of
Yeah,
notice it. Yeah.
and yeah, I think those were the big things I had to talk about Dead by Daylight. I don't think I had any other killers that really stuck out to me. I didn't
All right.
play the entire roster, just the ones that I kind of gravitated to and enjoyed.
Yeah.
Oh, I played as Freddy as well. Haven't leveled him up or anything. Just went in basic, one perk, no add-ons. It's kind of fun.
All right. What does he do with his alternate fire now that they made it where he can't put people to sleep? What's he do with that?
His alt fire is the Dream Snare, which is like a little trap you put down that the survivors can only walk through if they are in the dream state. And it will cause them to shout and give them a little bit of slowdown. So it's very useful in very tight spaces or during a chase. If you've got one on the other side of a pallet and they vault it, they will do a little scream and they'll slow down, and that will give you ample opportunity to loop around whatever object they were hiding behind and get a nice hit off. So he's not super powerful, and apparently he was way back in the day, but I actually really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed his ability to teleport to generators that are being worked on. Because there were plenty of times I would be in a chase, then somebody out in the distance would be working on a gen, and so what I would do is I would teleport to that generator, not really caring about who's on the other side, but just to get to the survivor from another angle. Because, I'm obviously facing forward in that direction that I'm teleporting to, which means the survivor I'm chasing is running in that direction. So if the survivor isn't looking behind him, like a lot of people tend to do for some reason, I can just teleport ahead of him, then double back, and he'll more or less be running into me. So now he's got to turn around, and he might be in a bad spot because he's already utilized all the loops behind him, and I've cut off the loops in front of him. So it actually worked out very well.
Does Freddy's teleport not make a noise?
No, it does not. His teleport is silent. The people on the gens will know he's coming because of the blood that splurts out of it. But to my knowledge, there's no audio cue for his teleport. He might do a laugh, but he laughs occasionally anyway at other random times, so I'm not sure if it's correlated.
All right.
I'll have to double check, but I feel like his teleport is silent.
All right.
And that's it for me, I think.
All right. Addie.
Right. Well, as discussed last week, which W wasn't here for, which is why I'm reiterating, I guess. But I've run out of games to play because Hollow Knight was the last game in my backlog. So
Ooh.
yeah, so I have beaten all of the games I own, all of them. Well, technically I haven't beaten Darkest Dungeon, but is there really such a thing as beating Darkest Dungeon? Probably. It just probably takes a lot of time.
Yeah, there is, because like it's one of those weird ones where it's like, it's kind of a roguelite in a way, right? Because the characters in the party can die, and when they die, you lose progress. But the player themselves in the camp they run never loses progress, so you'll always have the upgrades you buy for camp and the various money and treasure you built up, you know?
Yeah.
My understanding is that the end game of Darkest Dungeon is really brutal, because by the end game, and when I say brutal, I don't mean in a difficult kind of way. I mean in a moral kind of way, because Darkest Dungeon apparently over time lets you upgrade what kind of quality of heroes you can recruit from the little camp train there that introduces new heroes. And so when you get closer to the end game, it becomes more efficient as heroes get injured or take psychological traumas. It becomes more efficient to just fire them when they get too injured or traumatized and hiring new ones.
Uh,
That sucks.
Yep.
Yeah,
You're out
so
of a job, buddy.
yeah, it's not even that they fucking died. It's like, you know what? We don't care enough to pay for your mental health, buddy. Take a hike.
Yeah, I've been lucky that most of my characters aren't like they are getting crazy. I mean, I am in the middle of the game and none of them have died so far. No, 3 of them died so far. And then the game was like, "Yo, you can bring one of them back from the dead," and I was like, "Nah, it's cool."
They died because they were weak.
I mean, two of those characters I wanted to die. One of them was completely useless, and the other one went berserk and attacked his own team, I think, and then died. So I was like, you know what?
Yeah,
No,
I probably don't want to bring that one back.
Yeah, maybe he's better this way. But
Sometimes dead is better.
but I did have a knight. I think it's the Southern Knight that's died on me, that I actually wanted to bring back, but I couldn't figure out how to bring him back from the dead, and I already have like 4 knights in his stead, so I was like, you know what, it's cool. I don't need to break my back to try and bring this one dude back
He's
from
been
the
made
dead.
obsolete.
Yeah. But for the most part, like my characters are getting on the crazy. It depends on the level. The higher the level of the character, the more crazy they are. But usually it's okay. Usually it's things I can live with. So I have been lucky in that regard.
Yeah, aren't most of the like higher level traumas like stuff? Well, just like oh, they're scared of churches now, so they won't go pray at church anymore, or something like that.
I mean, yeah, those suck a bit, but not too much. The things I don't like are like, I forget the proper names for it, but like the fear of the dark, where they get a debuff when the torch slips under a percentage of light and shit like that, because that can kill them. And those are the things that really give me a disadvantage. But there have been, yeah, go ahead.
I do really like with Darkest Dungeon though, where if they do pick up like phobia of religion, you can be like, all right, well, off to prostitution with you.
Yep. Congratulations, you have been promoted to whore. Have fun.
Yeah.
If God don't work for you, then hookers will.
Yep.
I also love that the village caretaker in like every time between missions is using one of the services, and when he's like using the church, it's like, okay, sure. But I think he's using the prostitutes, and it's like, oh, okay.
my favorite is like freaking my favorite characters that I get occasionally, or like when it's a character who has really good stats and like good abilities and shit like that, and I have just the right items to give them to make them even more powerful. and they have one ailment, and it's just having an STD, so they can't use the hookers. And I'm like, okay, cool. There's 6 other ways that you can relieve yourself. It's fine. We're gonna be okay. But yeah. Yeah, Darkest Dungeon is fun. Last time I revisited it, I only barely escaped, but hey, that's Darkest Dungeon.
Yeah. Oh, another thing I want to get in real quick. I love that you can have them visit church or visit the brothel regardless of what character class they are. So like you'll send the nun to the brothel and she just says like the weirdest things when she gets in there. Like, you're gonna have to work around the chastity belt, boys. And conversely, you can send the Satanist to church, and he's just like, okay.
Why is the building on fire again?
Yeah. Like, if this works, then I lose all my powers, so congrats. That would be kind of neat, though, if it that just turns them into the cleric. They just come out a different class.
But yeah, that could be an interesting mod that someone could make, where the Satanist class, if they visit the church, they become the cleric, and if the cleric gets too crazy, then they become a Satanist.
You send the wizard to the brothel one too many times, he comes out the sexomancer. All of his spells are now just causing penises to come out of the ground and hit the enemy monsters. It doesn't do any damage, but it causes massive amounts of stress.
I'm sure that exists already. Like with the sheer amount of here have booba mods that are like genuinely the freaking workshop for Darkest Dungeon, from what I can tell, is like 20% actually quality mods of people trying to improve the game in like slight ways, and then 40% Dark Souls shit, and then 40% booba.
Yeah. Oh, so this class is cool, but why don't it have a great rack of tits?
Yeah, so I sometimes try to browse the mod list, because I do actually like, sometimes I like maybe there could be some small improvements to be made here and there with the game, and the creators are fine with that sort of thought process, because I mean the workshop thing is built in, and they even post the ones they like.
Very actively promote it.
Yeah. But like, I open up the thing and I don't like Dark Souls, and it's all like Dark Souls or booba, and I don't like booba either. The best ones are the best ones for me are the ones when it's Dark Souls booba. Then I'm overjoyed with the mods.
Oh, joy! 2 of my favorite things.
Yeah.
There's only really one instance of Dark Souls booba, though.
You would be wrong. I've seen sexy, like, freaking. I forget what the freaking the protect character from Dark Souls is called. Is he just a corpse? Or it, I guess.
Basically. Basically a corpse, yes.
But yeah, like I saw like onion big titty onion knight corpse mods and shit like that. Yeah.
Okay, the Onion Knight is a character. Okay, so that's a really stupid. Okay, so in game 1, Onion Knight is one of the NPCs. You can pick up his armor if you kill him, but he's one of the NPCs. And part of his whole storyline is that him being undead is causing him to lose his memory. And then you find his daughter, who is also an Onion Knight, and she looks identical for all intents and purposes, because the Onion Knight armor is pretty gender obscuring.
Yeah, it's the Onion Knight armor.
Yeah, and her whole thing is that she is the daughter of the other Onion Knight you've been seeing running around. She's not undead. She's the only NPC you meet in the entire game who's not undead, which makes it doubly horrifying if the player kills her. And she's like trying to deal with her dad losing his memory.
So you get more soul if you kill her.
Some guy was like, "Man, this storyline's cool, but why is the daughter's tits not out?"
That explains some things. Yeah. Anyway, so I don't even know where to transition. I suppose we can transition in the freaking thing of Souls, because we did play Neo with Pink,
This is true.
and it was a happening. I mean, it happened. I mean that doesn't
Definitely
it happened.
Yeah, Neo is really something. Dark Souls, you eventually get used to a level, you're going through it, and the enemies start to become a bit more mundane. Neo feels like you got to be on the ball at all times, no matter how much time you spent with the game.
A bit. I mean, I remembered, like, I simultaneously remembered every single nook and cranny in the level, because we didn't get too far because I started up a new character completely, but
Meh.
freaking, like, I simultaneously remembered all of the nooks and crannies of the first level, and also forgot about some of the enemy placement. But then, like, some of that was just also because I was trying to rush through, and you can't really, like, I don't really have time to go, oh, okay, so this guy comes out from behind me, there's two guys over there, and then I also need to look out for the three archers on the freaking lookout, while I'm also trying to get to the level in less than an hour.
Nah.
And I still failed. That's the best part. The first level took us an hour still. Well, give or take. I mean, that was with the tutorial, but whatever. But yeah, like, after that, I just today, I started up yet another character, because I was like, well, you know what, I'm gonna try out the Tonfas, because I never tried out the Tonfas in my first playthrough. And I ended up freaking one trying the boss of the first level, so I was like, okay, cool. Tonfas exist.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting to see how like, despite obviously being rather rusty at the game, I'm still pretty good at it just because I played through it once. And as is with Souls, you memorize the patterns once, and then you can beat it. That's Souls.
Yeah, kind of. It's not the case for all bosses, but for a lot of them, yes.
I mean, I'm just saying that as a sweeping character or enemy design thing. Like, overall, you memorize the patterns of how different classes of enemies hit, not just the bosses, just overall the minis.
Oh yeah, yeah, and enemies. Yeah, absolutely. It's about memorizing patterns.
Like, the bosses, I don't know if I would have been able to get through the bosses real easily, because, like, yeah, I know how they attack, because I've been through this once before, but, like, at the same time, like, bless you. At the same time, there's differences, because Pink one, like, I let Pink choose the weapons in the recorded thing, and he chose the Kusarigama, which I didn't play with the Kusarigama. I played with the Odachi, with the axes and the dual swords. So I knew pretty much half of the freaking the weapon stuff. That wasn't any of the things we chose. No, Pink chose the axes as a secondary, so it worked out. But yeah. Like you need to have a different plan of attack on how to counter the same patterns with the different weapons, because yeah, that like, I don't know why I'm pointing that out, because that's kind of obvious.
Yeah.
I suppose when you have games like Lords of the Fallen, when that doesn't really exist because the game was literally built for one playstyle, and if you try anything else, the game is like, no. Then I suppose it freaking bears repeating, or whatever, bears mentioning. Anyway.
Yeah, Souls is very much a game where the playthrough differs a lot depending on what weapon you choose, which is part of why sometimes people can have wildly differing experiences with Souls.
Yeah. And speaking of Souls, Hollow Knight is a game that exists. And I'm just like, I'm just summarizing that, because if you want to hear my complete rant on it, then that is last week's podcast. But
Yeah.
Hollow Knight is a game that's not bad. I just don't like it. Pretty much. The art's nice. I wish I could compliment more about, like, I like how before I finished it, I was like, the art's nice, but I wish I could finish the game so I could compliment more. And now that I finished it, I'm like, the art's nice, and I wish I could compliment more of the game.
Yeah.
But yeah. So because I've run out of games to play, I drew a lot more, even though I wanted to take a break, because it seemed that the quality of my drawings have been degrading because I've been doing so much drawing recently. But hey, I didn't have many other things to do, so I did drawing, whatever.
Yeah.
So I did this. I tried to do my best freaking Halloween thing, and this is what came to my mind. So it's Danny and Grover as Rocket Raccoon and freaking Groot. How did I forget his name?
That's a good question.
It's like the only thing he says.
Right?
My favorite
Those 3 words, that's one of them.
my favorite like Groot thing, at least concerning the movies. I don't know much about actual comics Groot, but concerning the movies, apparently I'm forgetting who voices Groot.
Vin Diesel.
Yeah, Vin Diesel. Apparently he voiced. Yeah, apparently Vin Diesel voiced Groot in like most of the localizations as well. So I might have. So technically, I might have heard Vin Diesel speak Hungarian, which is kind of weird.
I think he did, yes. I think he voiced Groot in all of the localizations.
I mean, good on him, honestly. Like, props
Not
for
a difficult set of lines to learn, honestly.
I mean, no, but still, that's like I feel like that's still more effort than most actors would put in. Is the thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
True.
Yo soy Groot.
I hope that Groot is like freaking like completely full of himself in the Japanese. Watashi wa Groot-sama.
Yeah.
But yeah, funny thing about this drawing for me is how I actually got Dan Zebrow's proportions pretty fucking good.
Yeah. He's a bit more portly than Rocket Raccoon. Rocket Raccoon's a bit skinny. Dan's been putting on the carbs.
Dan does nothing but fucking drink. He's fat.
This is true. This is true.
He is 50% sake.
50% sake, 50% pain, 100% reason to remember the name.
No. It's 50% sake, 50% testicles.
Yeah. 50% sake, 100% testicles, 150% remember the name.
Yeah.
He is balls. Ah, shit. What else did I draw? I like forgetting the things I worked on during the week. It is very fun. Oh, blimey. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this didn't turn out as well. But I really like Pyramid Head.
That's awesome. Is that Mega Man?
It's Mega Mary.
Mega Mario, but she's missing all her hands and feet.
Well, but one of those hands is supposed to be the freaking the Mega Buster. And then with the feet.
Also got a Mega Buster for a foot.
Well, that's the thing. I don't really remember how Mega Man's freaking shoes were, because the Mega Man design that I remember the most is the one from NT Warrior, and the one from NT or the one from Marvel 2. I fucking forget, but one of them has boots that are just pretty much just the Mega Buster. And
Mega Man's in Marvel 2?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mega Man's in Marvel 1 and 2.
How do I have no recollection of this?
I don't know.
They took him out for 3, which is really weird.
Because Zero was cooler.
No, he isn't. Stop lying.
Don't do this to yourself.
But yeah.
Doing the fucking kickflip in the background is fantastic, though.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I really like, because like I was trying to do this, and I may even remake this eventually, because I wanted to do the thing where, because one of the Halloween videos we'll be releasing is the Silent Hill 2 best of. I wanted to make a picture to promote it, I guess, I don't know, But I just wanted to summarize all playthrough of Silent Hill 2 in one picture, and this was the best I could come up with. It's James beating up Mega Mary while Pyramid Head is doing a kickflip, or not a kickflip. It's
Couldn't it be
it's
Mega
tail grab.
Maria?
Well, we said Mega Mary as a joke, so that's what I went with. But yeah, if we go with what actually happened in the playthrough, yes, it would be Mega Maria.
I can't wait for that one to come out just as you kick the shit out of her again.
I think I cut some of it out because that was in session 3, and session 3, but that was also part 3 because we didn't like there was less editing during that time. But session 3, something went wrong with the audio, and I didn't like it's not freaking like it's not mixed properly, so the game is fucking yelling, and we are speaking at a normal volume, but the game is just yelling. So I cut out the.
So we're just quietly talking in the background while Mary loudly screams as James loudly pummels her.
Yes.
I
mean, like, yeah.
Speaking of James, Pink, did Mike show you the leaked pictures of the James skin that Dead by Daylight is getting?
He has not.
Oh, James looks very, very good in Dead by Daylight. It's a very good, high quality, accurate, what I would imagine to be James in HD. Wife murdering in HD. I tell you.
I hope one of his abilities is smothering a person with a pillow, or that's his weapon, a pillow.
That would be awesome, but sadly, he's just a skin for Cheryl.
Because I was going to say, make James a killer and give him a Mary Dakimakura as his weapon.
Oh, dude, at first, the rumor that apparently was going around that Mike was telling us was that James was supposed to be not a skin for Cheryl, but a skin for Pyramid Head. Just James walking around with a great knife, chasing after innocent survivors and butchering them, and it's like, okay, this might be a bit of a character exaggeration.
I mean, yeah, a bit.
Like, okay, that he kills one person out of like sexual frustration that built up over years, and one person in self-defense. Admittedly, he's still a bad person, but that does not constitute like fucking picking up a big ass sword and being like, all right, fuck it, guess I'm killing again.
Like freaking like I'm just imagining the survivors going, James, no! And in the background, James is raising the great scissor. James, yes!
Yeah. His face just slowly curls into a fucking Grinch smile.
Yeah.
James' heart shrunk 3 sizes that day.
But his scissors grew 5.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Man.
So yeah. I suppose there's this, which is, you know, sometimes I like a lot of times I don't know what to draw. Sometimes I get bored and I just draw, or at least try to draw Chibi Bison T-posing. Why not? Establish dominance.
Assert dominance.
He pretty well does that when he flies, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, if he has crossed arms when he flies, so yeah. But in origin, like, funny you mentioned.
Is that not how he flew in the movie?
I
when
never watched.
When old Julia says like Jesus wept.
I don't know. I didn't see the movie.
I haven't either, but Raul Julia is so much defined bison. It's always what I think of, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, funny. Yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I finish your thought. I can finish my
I was just going to say the signature bison line for everyone is, for me, it was Tuesday, so you know.
Yeah. Yeah, funny you mentioned flying though, because like, this was supposed like all of these, like these less than three drawings that I posted are also somewhat similar because they have all been part of like I was trying to do a thing where I would like post a freaking Halloween themed image, or at least something, you know, something like that every week.
Yeah.
It didn't really turn out for most of them. Like the Silent Hill picture will probably be remastered in HD, but
Oh no!
There will be less fog. But
Everyone's voice actors have changed for some reason.
yeah. Pyramid had been doing an inverted Christ there instead of the tail grab that he's doing in this one.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that is one part that I omitted that I kind of wanted to do was I wanted to add the Tony Hawk combo counter thing on the bottom. That's a tail grab.
Yeah.
I feel like it would enhance the image.
The question would be: is the combo counter for Pyramid Head sick skateboard moves, or the combo counter be for James beating his wife to death?
Yes, both at the same time. It's a tandem counter. If they do attacks in sync, then it goes up.
S rank sadistic.
Smoking sexy style.
No. That can work for Pyramid Head, maybe.
Yeah. I'm imagining freaking.
Fucking sexy stuff.
I'm imagining James Sunderland doing trickster combos. he has Faust from DMC5.
Pillow Master.
You know why Mary is dead? Because she didn't Royal Guard.
Yeah. No, imagine if she had though.
Yeah.
Like she's just laying in bed, terminally ill, and then just suddenly you hear the parry noise. Or
the ending of Silent Hill 2. You go ahead.
fucking Evo moment 37, but it's James and Mary, and she's in bed, deathly ill.
Yeah. She's just raising her one hand like freaking Kenny's while in bed.
Oh man.
I'm imagining that being the ending of freaking that being the ending of Silent Hill 2. Like James puts in the freaking the VC the cassette into the VCR, and then the picture fades to black, and then there's just a loud Royal Guard, and then the game ends.
Yeah. Silent Hill 2 is one of those stories where it's almost kind of like, this would be a happier end if Dante just showed up and killed everyone.
Yeah.
Except Angela, she can stay. But even the child must go.
Like I like
that raw enough deal already.
I like imagining freaking like stylish hero action characters showing up in other games. Like I still chuckle to myself at the thought of Bayonetta showing up during Ruja's space stage. For no reason, she's just there.
The two icons of awkward sexual appeal.
Yeah.
The great thing about imagining those kinds of characters in other games is they near always could solve all the problems themselves.
Yeah.
Like every time there's Marvel vs. Capcom, it's like realistically speaking, you could put Dante in any other Capcom game and it would be a farce. Oh man.
So yeah. But the Bison thing was supposed to be a part of a bigger picture. And actually, now that I remember, because that reminded me, I did do another one that was supposed to be a part of that thing. So here.
All right.
The caption.
Why is that?
The caption wasn't there initially. It was just debunked. And then it was part of a bigger picture, but then the parts of the bigger picture didn't turn out the way I wanted them to. But this part was good enough, so I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll call it, and then I'll add the caption.
Yeah, but why is it one of those Pokemon, those ghost Pokemon that's the horny one? Like, shouldn't it be like a Gardevoir getting hit?
Yes, if that was the joke I was going for initially, then it should have been a Gardevoir or a freaking how am I forgetting its name? Not an Umbreon. It's one of the evolutions, the water one, Vaporeon. Yeah, there we go. But
Alternatively, lick your tongue.
you don't like. No, I'm not joking. You don't want to know how many people are somehow horny for Vaporeon. I don't get it. Like God,
I'm at the very least.
Yeah.
I am at the very least aware of how many people are horny for Gardevoir, so I think I've seen too much already.
Yeah. Like with some of them I can understand. I don't freaking like. I can't really sympathize because I don't find any Pokemon hot. Because I may be weird, but I'm not that weird, I guess. But freaking like you know, I guess I can understand like Machamp or like, you know, the character, the Pokemon that are just people, pretty much.
Champ's still got a weird fish face.
I mean,
This
yeah,
is true.
yeah,
But he's buff, and we're willing to look past some things in the name of buff, big, burly man.
well, look, Machamp may have a fish face, but he you can't just call him a double bagger.
Oh, speaking of Pink thinking things are sexy, Pink, did you know that you fucked up that name on that Dead by Daylight list? Donald Glover?
Yeah! It's Danny Glover, right?
Yeah, it is. But the idea of Donald Glover playing Detective Tapp is also amusing. Yeah, just have a new Survivor pack, the survivors from Community.
Right. Whoops. I did not notice that.
Yeah.
The second you said that, I realized there's only one thing I could have possibly messed up.
It is very funny, though, that Donald and Danny have such close names.
Right?
Maybe
But I mean,
they're all
it's not. Go ahead, sorry.
Maybe they're all secret triplets with Crispin Glover.
I want that to be canon so bad right now.
Yeah.
I mean, the real way to differentiate between Danny and Donald Glover is that if you try to shorten it, Dan Glover is not as funny.
Yeah, that's true. But Dang Glover still kind of works.
But yeah, to finish the thing on the Pokemon drawing, like the reason I used these two was because the original idea I had was it wasn't really an idea. I just started scribbling, and I was like I did the classic thing of, oh, this looks like that character. Okay, I'm doing that character. So it was supposed to be a picture of Luigi in his mansion fighting like freaking ghost type or ghost related Pokemon. And I was like, well, okay, what ghost type Pokemon can I remember? Haunter, there's one. And then I was like, okay, but I don't really remember that many others that could be funny. So I was like, okay, so what other ghost-ish Pokemon I can remember? Cubone is dead in Pokemon Gen 1. Or at least you can find Cubone. Like the Gaster you find in the Pokemon Tower is a Cubone, I believe, or a Marowak. I forget which one.
Yeah.
So I was like, whatever, close enough.
Heh.
And then that's how we ended up with this picture. But yeah.
Oh.
And then, what else did I do? Well, I did get the comic compilation thing for Spider-Man.
Oh, all right. What's in it?
It's Happy Birthday, Peter, or whatever. I think that's what they called it. But give me a sec. I'm gonna get it off the shelf and check what they translated the names to again.
With how much the Super Best Friends Reddit has been posting horny stuff of Mary Jane, that phrase just makes me think it's a whole fucking comic of them banging. You notice that?
It's half a comic of them banging, though.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
You ever read this comic, Pink?
What's up?
All right. You missed something out on something you would have very much wanted to be a part of. That's what I'll say.
Mary Jane's news.
I heard Eddie, but I didn't hear your full sentence.
I asked if you had read this comic that Eddie's talking about.
Oh.
But yeah, so it has it has the issue of, I think, issue 5 of Amazing Fantasy, issue 15 actually.
Yeah.
All right.
And then the Amazing Spider-Man Annual 1, and then Amazing Spider-Man Series 2, which I don't know what that really tells y'all. 57, 58, and then 500 and 502 because, or 500, yeah, words, because the continuity. And like 57 and 58, I think, are the Happy Birthday Peter story, and then there's also just miscellaneous stories after that because Spider-Man shines in the miscellaneous shit.
Yeah. I think Spider-Man could shine anywhere, realistically, as long as the writer's competent. But yeah, Spider-Man is being a street hero is generally more well built for individual issues than longer storylines, I'd say.
Yeah. And so,
with that said, of course, there are several big Spider-Man long storylines that are fantastic, of course, such as Death of Kraven, or Kraven's Last Time. What am I saying?
Yeah.
God. And everyone's favorite, the Clone Saga.
Ah, yes.
I love that.
And so the things I have like with this compilation is like the one thing that I didn't name drop, I guess, is that they have two like legacy issues, I guess. Like I mean technically all of these are legacy issues, but whatever. Like they have two issues from the 60s, I think, which is obviously Amazing Fantasy, but there's also the first appearance of the Sinister Six. So that's cool.
Neat.
Yeah.
What was the original Sinister Six lineup?
It was Vulture.
I know the answer. I know the answer.
All right, finish the list then.
Let Addy speak first, Mr. fucking comic book nerd.
Now he can. I'm gonna open up the cover and Pink can name drop the characters. I have the cover up.
All right, so
okay. Well, Pink, if you fuck this up, then we're taking away your comic book nerd badge.
You should. It's Dr. Octopus, Mysterio, Electro, Sandman, Vulture, and Kraven.
Yes.
Really? Kraven?
Yes.
On the Sinister
Yes,
Six?
Kraven. Kraven of all characters.
Weird. I would have said like Rhino.
No, Rhino actually didn't come along until Romita took over after Ditko left.
Wasn't Venom on the
Sinister Six? He's not one of the originals.
Was it Venom on the Sinister Six at some point?
I mean, he shouldn't be, but he probably was.
I was about to say he shouldn't be.
Yeah, it was they 90% of comic book writers do not know what the fuck to do with Eddie Brock. 90% of writers, period, don't know what to do with Eddie Brock.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that Tom Hardy Venom is being brought into the MCU?
Yes.
I did not.
The post-credit sequence of Venom 2 is him his bedroom being shifted into a Hawaiian hotel room, and he watches on TV as Tom Holland's Peter Parker gets his identity exposed, and the Venom symbiote takes over Eddie, and it turns out that because of the mixing of universes, the Venom symbiote remembers Spider-Man 3 and is pissed about it.
Ah.
I would be too. That was a terrible movie.
Yeah? No, you're not wrong.
Pink, it gave us Emo Peter. Emo Peter is a national treasure. I let you know.
Okay, so I hate Venom eating people, but I'd be cool if Venom just straight up ate Tobey Maguire as soon as Tobey Maguire gets introduced.
I don't know how they do it, but I honestly I have no problem with Tom Holland as Spider-Man, really. But I wouldn't mind them somehow making a fucking fusion of roles where whenever it's Peter, Peter is played by Tobey Maguire and Spider-Man is played by Garfield.
Yeah. See, I don't know. My thing is like I do agree with the general take that Andrew Garfield was a bad Peter and Tobey Maguire was a bad Spider-Man, but I don't really think Tobey Maguire was a good Peter either.
I mean, Tobey Maguire was the Peter I liked the most out of the three that we've gotten, but that's partially because I don't like the parts of the Ultimate Universe that they put into the Tom Holland movies. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, well, what I will praise Tobey Maguire's Peter for is that he had a bit of that like Steve Ditko dark side to Peter, where Peter could be a selfish fucking asshole.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I was going to bring that up, but yeah, continue.
Yeah, where Tom Holland is more so our modern idea of Peter as like innocent good boy, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That is something that I wanted to point out about the Amazing Fantasy freaking issue 15 apparently. is that like it's so weird to see that the version of Spider-Man I like the most when he like the like starting Peter and like the Peter I like isn't a bad person, but he can be a fucking asshole. And I like that like I like my Spider-Man when he's a goody two shoes, and then you like kill Aunt May or something, and then Peter just starts sleeping with the freaking the killing intent, and you see the tent forming on his back. Because I like Spider-Man when I can see, like, even though I don't see his face, I can see that he's like, okay, the killing rule does not work anymore, and the no killing rule.
Yeah, there's kind of a thing with superheroes. Like each of them has the mode where it's like, oh, they're serious now. Like Batman, if he's willing to talk about the idea of killing, he's serious. If Superman curses, he's serious. And for Spider-Man, it's has he stopped talking, then he's serious.
Yeah. And that's the version of Spider-Man I like the most, partially because I guess that may have been the one I grew up with. I forget. Like, I don't remember a lot of things about the Fox Kids Spider-Man cartoon.
Well, yeah, it was kind of a little bit that. How much did you grow up with Spectacular? Because Spectacular is because Spectacular is so much based off the Ditko Lee original idea of Spider-Man. I guess that's part of why I like the original Ditko Lee characterization so much. Yeah, and for me, like Spectacular is just the Spider-Man for me,
Yeah, the Spectacular and the Fox Kids cartoon, the 90s one, are the two that I grew up with. So yeah.
Yeah, the 90s one had some definite upsides. There are some characters that I love from the 90s. Like, I fucking love the 90s animated version of Kingpin. That show made me love Kingpin as a character.
What I remember is that growing up, my favorite enemy out of the Rogues Gallery for Spider-Man was the Lizard. And he gets nothing ever. So that's funny.
He did get Amazing Spider-Man 1, but that wasn't very good.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
There were rumors floating around they were going to bring him back for this one, but were those rumors anywhere near true, Pink?
Not as far as I'm aware.
Supposedly, the idea with No Way Home is that they're assembling a version of the Sinister Six, but they've got what? Goblin, Octopus, evidently Venom, Electro, and who else? The rumors were Sandman and Rhino for the final two, right?
Right.
Which, it needs to be said, those are 6 great villains who do not have nearly enough screen time between them.
Yeah.
And, Norman has never been on Sinister Six in the comics for a reason. For one thing, the other villains shouldn't like him, and for another thing, his feud with Peter is way more personal.
Yep.
Kind of like how Joker shouldn't be on any DC villain team-ups, because who the fuck would team up with a Joker?
Indeed.
Oh, you're giving me a lot of jokes and riddles flashbacks. Holy shit.
Yeah. I'm fine with Joker, like the more psychotic ones, like Mad Hatter. But why does Lex Luthor put up with him,
That's a very good question.
I guess it may have money in it. I don't know. Like, Luthor doesn't strike me as like, Luthor is evil, but he's not evil. Luthor wants to rule Metropolis, but Luthor doesn't want to split the world and by pissing on it like Eggman does.
Yeah. The only thing I can think of is when they did that Infinite Crisis, and there was that evil version of Luthor who still had hair.
That's how you know he's evil.
Yeah. After his plan failed and he wound up just wandering around on Earth, he ran into main universe Luthor and Joker beat him to death because he was pissed that he didn't include him in his villain team up. So maybe that's just what it is they only include Joker on the villain team up so that he doesn't murder them in their sleep.
Maybe.
Little insurance, just in case. We don't want this guy on the bad side or anything.
I have to imagine how you would try to make tactics and shit like that. Like, okay, so like Black Adam goes here and terrorizes children. Fucking, I don't know. The Manta does whatever. He can do shit in the water. Leave Joker alone. Joker will figure it out.
Joker is the Hulk of supervillain team ups, and then everyone else you get precise instructions. With Joker, like Captain America, just turns over and says, "Joker, just do whatever." Way ahead of you, and he just whips out a crowbar and runs off screen.
Yeah. But the crowbar has the exact freaking like the detonations to form around freaking Jason Todd's skull.
Yeah, it's the same crowbar. He never changed it out for another one. He keeps it in his pocket as a beloved memento at all times.
Yeah, it's his lucky crowbar.
Man, I don't like those animated movies they keep doing with DC, but I saw a good scene from one of them the other day. It was an ending to one of them where Joker incognito goes to a diner, and he perfectly winds up sitting next to Jason Todd. And he looks at Jason Todd and he's like, "Holy shit, kid, I beat you to death a few years back." And Jason just grabs a fork off the table and sticks it through Joker's eye. I know Joker's one of those characters who kind of needs to be invincible because part of his whole thing is like he's demonstration of how the world is fucked up and how Batman's philosophy can never really work. But man, I love when Joker's shit comes back to bite him in the ass.
Yeah.
Like it's part of Joker being so invincible is what makes it so good when he does get his comeuppance, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, so going back to the Spider-Man comics that I read. One thing that I wanted to point out about the old freaking the Sinister Six comic. Do I know who did that? Yes, Ditko and Lee. Who would have thought? you would think, yeah.
Really, I wouldn't have thought the Sinister Six was that early.
Apparently, it is.
I would think like Ditko Spider-Man was still like a high schooler, so I would think like that's above his pay grade. You know? I would think an assembly of that kind of supervillains, that'd be like an Avengers problem at that point.
I mean, the thing is, Dr. Octopus rounded up all of the some of the villains of Spider-Man, the most notable ones. And he was like, "Okay, so y'all have seen the ninja movies? That's how we'll attack, and that's how they attack. It doesn't work."
Yeah.
But yeah, like I really liked how Sandman is not beaten. Like Peter does not beat Sandman. Sandman nearly kills himself, and then Peter's like, "Okay, cool," and leaves.
Yeah.
But
always the problem with Sandman. How do you beat him? You don't.
And that's why typically you don't. It's always, him and Absorbing Man. Those are the two villains that always beat themselves.
Yep. And Sandman, like the other thing with Sandman and Absorbing Man is that most of them are also like the working class Joes that are probably the most agreeable to just getting them to go like, "Hey, can you just leave?" And they're like, "Okay."
Yeah. It works out.
The stronger the villain, generally speaking, the more likely you have to be able to make them have a non-violent solution. Thanos loses in Infinity War, not because he like genuinely actually physically loses, but because he chooses to lose. Or excuse me, Infinity Gauntlet, not Infinity War. What am I saying?
Yeah, I was wondering what you were going on about.
Yeah.
I've never read the comic book version of Infinity War. Is it any good?
I've not read that one either.
Neither have I.
Not a big rush, I guess.
But
yeah, I guess evil Adam Warlock didn't put many asses in seats, I guess.
Probably not. But yeah, the one thing I want to point out about the Sinister Six comic is how sometimes I see people complaining about how I'm forgetting the name of the actor, the guy who played Doc Ock in Spider-Man, the movies, the Maguire movies.
Really?
Yeah, like,
I thought people loved him. Alfred Molina.
Yeah, now people do because they have nostalgia. But between now that he's back to playing Dr. Octopus and those movies, there was a large amount of time where I heard people talk about how he's like too buff and shit. Have you seen Dr. Octopus? Dude's ripped. Dude has a fucking six-pack.
Yeah, Fat Doc Ock, I think, was more of a later thing, wasn't it, Pink?
I would love to say yes. I'm actually not certain.
Was he fat when he married Aunt May? Or did Aunt May,
No.
way out?
Yeah,
So
he
Aunt May batted way out of her league.
Oh yeah.
I always remember one of the most horrifying, disgusting parts of Superior Spider-Man was when Peter had to look through Doc Ock's memories. And you don't see it on panel, but you hear the dialogue of Aunt May trying to talk Doc Ock into doing it before they get married. And it's like, oh, wow. Peter's life sucks.
A little bit.
And
It also just makes me giggle that Doc Ock, noted supervillain, doesn't want to have sex before marriage.
He's a good Christian octopus.
Yeah.
Very true.
But like they already started setting up shit for that with the Sinister Six comics, because Aunt May was already like Doc Ock was already flirting with Aunt May in this one.
Oh my God! Really?
Yeah.
Oh, now I just imagine after him and Spider-Man fight, he just runs away like, off to see your mother!
Dr. Octopus gets Mysterio to play Doing Your Bomb by the freaking that one guy, the Equals 3 guy. David M. Johnson, yeah.
Well, evidently Mysterio can make anyone think they're having sex with anyone else, so all sex is an illusion created by Mysterio.
All sex is an illusion. You heard it here first, folks. Every time you know it was actually me, Barry.
You remember remember when that girl touched your hand and you came in your pants? That was me, Barry. I can jerk you off faster than you could think.
Blimey. But yeah.
How the fuck did Harry put Mysterio up to, hey, can you make my dad think that he's having sex with my best friend? What?
It's
Harry,
just,
what?
It's just a prank, bro. It's fine.
It's just a prank, Dad?
Yeah.
Like, how did not only convince Mysterio to do all that, but also somehow convinced Mysterio to make up 2 children? Also, why would Harry want to make up 2 fictional half siblings?
No. Harry didn't make those up. That was Mysterio's OCs.
Oh yeah.
Mysterio was really into the storyline, you know. He was always a special effects guy, but to actually be a director for once, his dream job come true.
That's a good storyline there, Pink. That's a good storyline potential there. Keep that.
I'm imagining Mysterio, like I'm imagining Harry going to Mysterio, going like, "Hey, make my dad think that he raped my best friend," and then Mysterio just opens up fanfiction.net and starts reading.
Time for some research.
Yeah.
It turns out that all that time we thought Norman was dead. It was actually just Mysterio trapping Norman in a WandaVision-esque scenario.
Yeah. I'm imagining Mysterio in front of a computer in full getup with the fishbowl, the CRT is reflecting off of his fishbowl, and then he's like, "Wait, so what did Snape do with Lala?" That's an actual fucking fanfiction. I saw that on the net. It was cursed. Snape fucked all of the Teletubbies. I'm not joking. Help! I need to unread it.
I imagine Mysterio just having like a Byzantine chart web of character relationships on his wall. I gotta keep the storyline consistent, man.
Yeah. No, I mean Mysterio. Alternatively, what if Mysterio just made freaking Norman's life into my immortal?
That is absolutely within Mysterio's power.
Yeah, I know, which is why I want it to happen.
I think we've just written ourselves a Deadpool comic, gentlemen.
But like
at what point has Mysterio just fucked over every superhero's life?
Yes. I just I want that comic to exist now. I want Marvel to actually I don't know how they would go out of the way to securing the rights to My Immortal, but I want them to fucking buy the script of My Immortal and just make a comic that's just Mysterio making people act it out, like the superheroes act it out. And I don't want them to fix any of the typos or anything. Just leave it all in there.
Oh god.
I'm imagining Gwen Stacy done up in freaking like make it as shit looking as possible. Like make it obvious that Gwen Stacy is wearing a black wig. And just make her be Ebony or NOB or whatever you want to call her, because she doesn't know what to call herself either. The issue that would be replacing the like freaking the Harry Potter stuff, but I mean they could do it. I feel like Marvel probably has enough magic shit to go with it.
Alternatively, you could just say Mysterio's a huge fucking nerd and he just keeps the Harry Potter stuff.
But I mean, then couldn't J.K. Rowling in the deep sue?
Who gives a fuck?
But yeah, so
just that gif of JonTron putting his hand on his chin and going, fuck it.
Yeah. But so, there's a couple of other things that I wanted to point out. I'm just looking at the back, trying to look at the freaking the covers and remember what actually happened in these. But
yeah,
one thing that I was very interested in seeing is how they would localize the nicknames Peter gives everyone, because we call Doc Ock because that's what Peter shortens Dr. Octopus to. There is no real easy way to do that in Hungarian though. So I was like, okay, so what do they do with that? And it's like it works, but I don't know, because instead of Doc Ock, freaking Peter calls Dr. Octopus Okie Dokie. So like any second, I'm just waiting for Peter to start talking like freaking how am I forgetting his name? Ned Flanders, yeah, Flanders.
Yeah.
Oakley dokley. Get your freaking tentacles off of me, please.
Well, Doc, okie dokie, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to diddly your ass.
So that what else did I want to point out? During the
Ned,
yeah,
Ned probably is ripped enough. Ned probably is ripped enough to take on Doc Ock. Honestly speaking, his penis is long enough to use as a weapon. So,
is that canon?
Yes, that is canon. That for one thing, not Doc. Ned Flanders is super ripped and has an enormous penis.
It is canon that Dr. Octopus's dick is twice the size of one of his tentacles.
Yeah.
Both in girth and length.
There was so I think what it was in The Simpsons is at what point, for whatever reason, Homer films Ned in the shower. And in addition to Ned being like Arnold Schwarzenegger level ripped, Ned also has a sensor bar going down from his crotch down to his calves.
Ah. I see.
Yeah. I think there is one episode of Simpsons, I want to say, after Ned's wife gets killed, where he has to sleep with a porn star, and the porn star wants to quit her job to marry him.
Oh.
Because he's that good.
I see.
Like, it's just one of those weird running gags with Ned. There's loads of weird running gags with Ned, but it's just one of those ones where it's like, oh yeah, Ned being a super Christian guy is holding him back. He's actually a sex god. What?
That is part horse.
Yeah.
But yeah, the another thing that I wanted to point out is the Happy Birthday Peter is an interesting story because it's time travel.
Oh,
Yeah, it's Peter. Peter is having a birthday, and I don't remember if it's the Sinister Six that attack. Whatever. No, not the Sinister Six. It's just like these zombie people attack, and then later it's revealed that it's Dormammu. But
of course. Why does Dormammu give a shit about Peter?
he doesn't. What happens is Dormammu is like off screen before the comics start, or this story starts in the comics. Strange and Dormammu were fighting, and Strange split up Dormammu into pieces and as a last resort, and then freaking threw him into these different dimensions. But Dormammu, with the rest of his strength, summoned like infinite zombie people somehow, and they started attacking New York.
Power of the Creator, Power of the Destructor.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And the heroes have called for Strange, but Strange is taking his time, so they're trying to keep the zombie people from killing everyone. And as a last resort thing, Mr. Fantastic is like, I know, I'll just split the universe. And so he does, and Dormammu comes back. Because why not?
Pank, are you still here? Okay, the answer to that is no. Boy, Reed's batting average sometimes just is not great with these things.
I thought he'd be smarter than that. Apparently not.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he. Go ahead.
Reed's not created as many problems as Hank Pym, but boy, he's created some fucking problems over the years.
Yeah, I don't think he wanted to split the universe. He was just like, I'm just gonna play music at the right frequency to split all of the universes and make them merge accidentally, kind of. Like he kind of knew it would happen, but he kind of didn't. So
it was a theory.
Yeah,
he had to test it. Science beckoned.
Yeah. And Strange shows up and he's like, what the fuck, dude? So he starts fighting Dormammu again, but Dormammu is not as out of breath as Strange is, because Dormammu only died and Strange didn't. So Strange tries to kill himself and Dormammu at the same time, but Peter gets thrown into the explosion, which sends all of them back to the beginning of time, or at least the space between time, or something like that. And then we go on a journey of Strange trying to lead Peter back to the time that they blew up, so that Peter can stop Mr. Fantastic from shitting the bed, pretty much. And the thing that I found very weird is we go forward in time as well, not just back. Like we go into the future as well. And apparently, around the time that this was released, the future was considered to be the one design of Peter that one of the not original designs that they had in Spider-Man PS4 that I liked. You know, the one where Peter kills everyone.
Oh, what?
Yeah, that was Peter's future apparently. But the way it was framed, like it you know, because from the summarization of the actual comic line I've read, where that happens, it seemed like Peter just for whatever reason decides, hey, I'm gonna kill now, and then he just kills all of his enemies, and then he gets into a shootout with the cops and dies. And apparently there either may be a better reason for Peter to actually kill his enemies, or whoever wrote this comic story was trying to remedy that story from being completely shit. Because like the Peter in the future is like, oh, you don't know what we've done. Like I know you're here because I was there too. You don't know what we've done. We had a reason. Try to stop it from happening. But yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Is this the storyline that No Way Home is adapting?
Maybe. I mean, holy shit, it could be. I mean, I don't know, because Dormammu is not like, I don't remember hearing about Dormammu, but it would be interesting. And he does kind of fight the Sinister Six. Like there's different fights with like most of them, I think, that he gets put into for a hit or two and then he teleports away. So it could be.
Yeah, just replace Dormammu with him wanting to take his secret identity back.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a combination of No Way Home with also fucking One More Day. Oh god.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there you go. Whatever. Fuck it. I fucked up the names of the storylines, but whatever.
And oh yeah, another thing that I wanted to point out is how the Dormammu in this comic is the skin I used in Marvel 3 for him. So I appreciated that because it's fucking Balaclava Dormammu somehow.
Did you say Balaclava Dormammu?
Yeah. I don't know how. Yeah.
I don't remember what that design looks like.
I mean, it's mostly the same. It like the way his head is drawn, it just looks like he's wearing a balaclava.
Oh yes, the Shadow Head Dormammu. Yes.
Yeah.
I do like that kind of like classic old comic book thing of just using black lines and gray lines to indicate, oh, it's a Shadow Head.
Yeah.
It's made out of smoke.
Yeah. And then there's one last thing that I wanted to point out about any of these, which is there's this I think it's just called like a Saturday night's walk or something like that. It's a one-off story where the comic starts off following Peter for the first like 3 pages, and then we switch to following Aunt May. And it's just Aunt May like talking like, to the reader pretty much. Just explaining that she knows that Peter is Spider-Man, and then we get to see Peter doing stuff sometimes. And I liked one scene in particular, or well, I would call it a scene because it was a combination, or it was like multiple panels. But I don't know if it was a whole page. I don't remember. Either way, there was this one scene in particular that I liked where Aunt May is in the shop trying to buy a phone, and there's a guy whose every second word is fucking. And he's arguing with someone over the phone about how the phone plan is bad and whatever. And Aunt May just bumps into the guy, which makes the guy drop his phone and the phone breaks. And the guy turns around back to Aunt May and he's like, "What did you just fucking do?" And Aunt May just knows, "I don't fucking know." And the guy leaves. Oh no, it was no. She says like it was a fucking accident or something like that. I just love it. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead.
I just love, and like I love it whenever characters who don't have powers get to do cool shit like this as well in comics. And the funniest part was the funniest in hindsight. Now that I think about it, is that it was the setup for a kind of a setup for a Reddit freaking like joke where the guy was being freaking annoying, so Aunt May made him go away, and then everyone clapped.
Yeah.
So what did you want to say?
I always it's one of those just things of like it's a trope, whatever. But I always love when someone figures out the superhero's secret identity without like any real aid.
Yeah.
I mean, logically speaking, of course, Aunt May should have figured out he's Spider-Man forever ago.
Yeah. The
favorite one will always be from Ultimate Spider-Man when Flash's dipshit jock friend Kenny Kong. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Pink, because you've read Ultimate Spider-Man, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. So, at one point, there's some crime going on in front of the whole high school, and Peter is just standing there with the rest of the students. And Kenny Kong, like, who up until this point has just bullied Peter and just been the class dumbass, like, looks at Peter and goes, "What, am I supposed to say, like, uh-oh, this looks like a job for Spider-Man?" And Peter's left like, what the fuck are you talking about? And they piece things together. Oh, Kenny not only figured out that Peter is Spider-Man a long time ago, Kenny also thinks it's so obvious that everyone in class also knows, they just haven't said. Like that's pretty good. It's one thing for the class idiot to have figured it out, but it's another thing for him to think it's so obvious that nobody's just talking. It just must be a thing no one's talking about. Of course,
Sure, right?
Yeah. But this whole compilation that they released is just like they chose good comics for this one, because the Avengers one, like I feel like that wasn't their best showings, just because. But it might have just been because of Ant-Man, honestly, and I don't know what they could have done to fix that. But but like,
Well,
yeah,
the thing with Avengers is that in the comics they're a bunch of screw ups, so it's kind of that's just what they are.
yeah. But like honestly, like I'm looking over this compilation that with of Spider-Man, and I'm like, oh, this story had this good part. Like there's a story of that's one of the one-offs that they put in is there's this guy who makes everyone's clothes. Like he makes he's a tailor for both the supervillains and the superheroes. And one of the guys is trying to kill one of the guys is trying to assassinate. There's this random assassin guy that I think his name is literally Assassin. That's his supervillain name. So yeah, and that guy wants to snipe some political figure, and so the guy seeks out Spider-Man. Oh yeah, I remember why that story is included. But yeah, so that guy seeks out Spider-Man because he doesn't make Spider-Man's clothing, because Spider-Man makes his own, and he wanted to tell a superhero that you wouldn't be able to trace back to him, pretty much.
Yeah.
And how that story ends is he gives Peter the design for the clothing for the thing where he kills everyone. So weirdly enough, it all ties together, even though it's one-offs.
This comic compilation is making it seem like that is the most important event in Spider-Man history.
Kind of. Yeah, Peter killing everyone is the most important event in Marvel history.
Like it's building that up like it's a fucking character arc. That's the natural endpoint for Peter's arc, is in killing. What?
I mean, maybe. At this point, who knows? But
Like having a fucking compilation of Batman comics where everyone, like, they specifically chose over the period of 50 or 70 fucking years of comics, they specifically only choose the ones that end on cliffhangers implying that Hugo Strange is going to be a problem soon. And you've got one comic doing it from 75, one comic doing it from 92, one comic doing it from 2008. So people read it and they're like, oh man, Hugo Strange must be the fucking shit.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Like, you are right, because freaking reading through all of this shit, like I already like that design for Spider-Man, because like the guy says it right in the comics. It's a very good blending of his normal design and street clothes, which is pretty much what they were going for with that design. They just wanted to make it like they wanted to make it a bit easier to stealth for Spider-Man, pretty much, with that design.
Yeah.
And that's why I like it, because it's very close to a normal Spider-Man outfit, but it's also just street clothes, more or less, with a mask.
Yeah.
And so, like, I already like the design, so I thought about reading it, but then I read that Peter kills everyone and then dies, and I was like, maybe I won't read it, actually. But this thing is doing a pretty good job of selling the design, or at least.
That story can be good, depending on how they execute it.
Yeah. I mean, if it's set up similarly to how this thing handles it, as in, like, you know, Peter knows he's in the wrong, but he had to do it, and then he gets himself killed. Because, like, the way I read it, he gets into a shootout with the cops. How they show it in the time travel comic, Peter doesn't fight the cops, or he fights the cops to make them shoot him more, pretty much.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would expect. Honestly, it sounds like a Spider-Man ripoff of Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow.
I don't think I've heard a summary of that one.
It's a Superman comic where all of Superman's villains all of a sudden go, like, super psycho and go fucking nuts. And Superman is forced to kill pretty well all of his supervillains to defend his friends and family. And Superman feels so guilty about it that he deliberately exposes himself to a certain kind of kryptonite that takes away his powers forever.
Ah.
It was pretty well the end of the Silver Age Superman, written by Alan Moore, of course. Good comic. It is a good comic. But it's, you know, Like
Yeah.
it was actually the example I was about to use of a comic of a hero killing all of his villains and it being a good story.
Then yeah, it could be a ripoff of that.
The real punch, though, this is the thing I was going to say, though. I don't know what the ripoff equivalent would be for Spider-Man here, but the real punch is that for the whatever happened to the Man of Tomorrow, all of Superman's villains have gone psycho because it turns out, oh yeah, Mr. Mxyzptlk is an old god who has only been playing around with Superman for fun all these years, but has now decided he's sick of Superman and is going to do everything in his power to change the world to kill him.
Ah,
There is a very great part where Mxyzptlk reveals his true form, and it's this bizarre, like, multi-dimensional purple, like, crystal thing that does not oblige by the laws of art, comic book art, and just is fucking weird.
I would have left. I would have left if he's just Shumagores.
Yeah, and like Superman, I think even says it hurts to look at it.
Ah,
Yeah.
that's always nice.
Yep. I think Superman can't even directly hurt it. I think the only way he's able to kill it is by like tearing it between dimensions.
Here's the easy joke. So what you're saying is I can't fucking pronounce his name. It's a bit like his real form is a drawing made by me. It hurts. Look at.
You don't have enough dimensions to your art.
True. I must draw additional pylons.
Yeah, you must. There you go. Hang on. Let me pull up the picture. Let me see if I can. Let me see. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so this Discord does work while it's in the background on my phone. Okay, I'm going to look up the true form of Mxyzptlk.
All right. While you do that, and we're speaking about elder gods, and freaking hurts to look at. One thing that I wanted to point out about Ditko's art of Spider-Man is there's one panel, only one, that is cursed. In the entirety of Amazing Fantasy 15, there's one panel that is like it's Cthulhian. Is that even a word? I don't think it is. But there's one panel where Spider-Man has pupils, and it's so scary.
I never like Spider-Man with pupils, and I don't like Batman with pupils either.
Yeah. Let me see if I
Okay.
Let me see if I can find it while you post Mxyzptlk.
I did find it. It does not. I remembered it incorrectly. I'm not. I remember.
It's a dark purple fish person. I guess.
Yeah. I think it looks a bit different in some other panels, but yeah, that's what it looks like, at least in what Google gave me.
I see. Okay, here's the thing I'm talking about. It is scary. Look at like this is the Peter that can kill. Like he's just strangled that man.
To me, it looks like he's like doing the fucking Scooby. That wasn't weed, man.
I mean, one thing that I said this to Ping during one of the art videos is that like reading through the oldest Spider-Man comics gave me more confidence in drawing Spider-Man because it's not as much of an issue as I thought that I draw Peter with his face melting off, because that's just tradition.
Yeah. I'll be honest. Like Ditko's not a bad artist, but he's not a good one either.
He was a cartoonist.
Yeah. Between him and Kirby, it's obvious to see why Kirby's a bit more respected.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Although there was one panel that I liked. I think it was in the Sinister Six comic, where the perspective was really weird. So I could clearly see the intention, where it was, Peter standing really close to the camera, and then Aunt May and Barry, I think her name was, Peter's bugle love interest.
Betty.
Betty, yeah.
Betty, yes.
Betty, she's her and May are talking. Well, all three of them are talking, but Peter is closer to the camera as they're walking out, and that was obviously the intention, and it was well drawn. At the same time, it was hard not to see a gigantic Peter robot behind May and Betty. I can see that panel both ways, and both of them are like, it was well made, but it's funny trying not to see the big robot Peter.
Hang on. I just remembered, wasn't Betty dating Peter while he was in high school?
Yes.
Wasn't Betty an adult?
Yes.
Was she?
I think so.
Hmm.
And again, I wouldn't
I
know.
honestly don't know what her age was. I feel like if she was an adult, they would have retconned it at this point, because I think she was a high school dropout.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because I know that, nowadays when Peter flirts with Betty, the consistent answer is always Betty saying, Peter, you're too young.
Right.
I forget, who does Betty actually end up with in the comics?
What's his face? Ned Olsen, I want to say.
Who'd you say?
Ned.
Flanders.
Yeah.
But he couldn't resist the big dick.
Yeah. Ned Flanders cuckolds everyone. That's the name of today's podcast.
Ned Flanders is an old god that cocks everyone. He goes from universe to universe, cocking everyone.
That's who Norm was actually fucking underneath the Mysterio illusion.
Freaking
Ned Leeds.
I thought you had screwed up the name, but I couldn't.
I
couldn't
absolutely
tell.
did screw up the name. I said Olsen. I was like, no, that's Jimmy. Other bugle, other reporting site.
Replaceable characters, honestly. And who was the other Bugle news guy who interacted more with Daredevil?
Ben Urich.
Yes, right. And between Ned and Ben, who was it that became the Hobgoblin?
That was Ned.
I almost kind of feel like at some point it was both.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I feel like Ben Urich has been something at this point, but I don't know.
Like, it's God help you with the fucking Hobgoblin, you know?
Yeah.
Everybody's had a turn as a Hobgoblin at this point.
Like, I honestly, at this point, I think the only acceptable answer for Hobgoblin is the fashion dude, really. But they doubled down on it so hard early on it not being the fashion dude because they wanted to have a red herring. But nowadays, isn't it absolutely the fashion dude, but he's a more heroic Hobgoblin?
Yeah.
The Hobgoblin should be Aunt May.
Probably was at some point.
Yeah. Peter was probably the Hobgoblin at some point.
Yeah. Oh, they actually do have a thing, because if you remember, these compilations also have stuff that's not comics. Like, they have interviews with some of the people who worked on some of the issues in it, and like recommendations and stuff like that. One of the things one of the special things they have in this is just, here's a list of Spider-Man suits. And they're like, Peter isn't always Spider-Man because comics continuity can suck my ass. And
Yeah.
and freaking like they list a couple of the things he's been, and I like how the only thing that when he wasn't just Spider-Man, okay, no, there's two points where he wasn't Spider-Man. When he was Wonder Boy apparently, and then also when he was just Shade, Like, you know, literally Shadow Lady.
Well, he was also Captain Universe at one point, and he was who's that X-Man now that his power is that anyone he is around, he absorbs their knowledge. Prodigy. Spider-Man used to be Prodigy at some point. Peter used to be Prodigy. Yeah.
Oh, that may be the one that got freaking localized to Wonder Boy. Then is Prodigy yellow?
What? Yes.
Yes, it is Prodigy.
Okay, yeah, there was a little time period where Peter was trying to not be Spider-Man. I don't remember why, and he had a bunch of fake identities. Prodigy was the longest lasting one, but he was also like Ricochet or something and something else.
Yep. Ricochet, I actually wanted to point out because that's also funny how it was freaking. Well, it's not funny how it was localized knowing it's called Ricochet, because I was like, because the word for Ricochet is Geller in Hungarian.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why the fuck is he named after Uli Geller? You know, the guy who bends spoons.
Oh man. What was I good? Oh man, they should have included the best alternative Spider-Man identity, the Amazing Bagman.
Here's the thing. There is a Bagman under just normal Spider-Man outfits. It's not the bombastic Bagman, so it doesn't count. But
well,
Yeah,
is it the costume that he took from Johnny though?
no, that's what I'm saying. It's not the Fantastic Four outfit with the bag over his head. It's Peter half naked in freaking in like jail pants. From what I can tell, it's cut off weird. It's just Peter with a bag on his head, half naked in jail pants. So I don't know when he did shit as Spider-Man in that outfit, but you know,
I don't know
guess
whether I'd be comfortable being saved by that.
Thank you, criminal.
My life is saved, but my dignity is forever gone.
I keep freaking remembering one thing, another thing that I wanted to bring up, but I forget what. Fucking hell. Oh yeah. So you brought up in the Sinister Six how they didn't ask the Avengers, and then I actually remembered how the reasoning why they didn't get the Avengers, and that was funny.
Like that.
So what happened was, the Sinister Six got together, kidnapped Betty and Aunt May, and they went to Jameson. I forget how they got word to Jameson, but they went to Jameson and they were like, call Spider-Man. And he's like, how would I know Spider-Man's number? So he's like, okay, well, there's a couple of superheroes. I know for the Fantastic Four's phone number, so I just call up the Fantastic Four. Maybe they know. So he calls up the Fantastic Four. And Reed is like, how would I know where the fuck Spider-Man is? So...
Am I Spider-Man's keeper?
Yeah. and so Reed's like, I don't know where Spider-Man is, but I know the Avengers' number, so I guess I'll call them up to see if they know where Spider-Man is. So Reed calls up the Avengers, and Captain America picks up. Reed is like, yo, do you know where Spider-Man is? And Captain America goes, what the fuck is a Spider-Man, dude?
Don't you know? Does whatever a spider can. Believable, this guy.
And so freaking like after a while, like two days pass, the Avengers does not give a shit about Spider-Man. The Fantastic Four are at least looking for him. Johnny fights Spider-Man, and like freaking like Johnny's like, yo dude, we're looking for you. You need to come help. And Spider-Man just starts insulting him, which then boils down to the Human Torch and Spider-Man standing on the top of a building in New York going, fuck me? No, fuck you! And then that goes on for 2 pages.
And that's why the Fantastic Four should not send Johnny.
Yeah. But I really liked how professional all of the superheroes were. Like it was such a nice thing to see now that everything is connected with S.H.I.E.L.D. and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I do miss that era of Marvel where it's just like, what the, who the fuck? I don't know. I got problems of my own to deal with. Get fucked, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, Reed, that sounds like a you problem.
America's like, is Spider-Man a national problem? Reed's like, no. Okay, then don't call again. And then just freaking slams it on Reed. But then like, but while all of this is going on, Jameson is also constantly looking for Spider-Man with all of his power, which I also like. Like I like Jameson when he like, also entertaining as I find the I'm afraid the real person that they based him off of, the version of Jameson that's in the PS4 Spider-Man.
Alex Jones, Jameson, yeah.
Yeah. Like as much as I enjoy, like I find, as much as I find him entertaining, I don't actually enjoy that portrayal of Jameson, because I like Jameson when he's a hard ass on Spider-Man, but he's also a good person, and you can tell that he's a good person.
Yeah.
And like,
In the comics, he did have a gigantic fuck up in that he created the Scorpion.
Yeah. And so the freaking like I liked how while the Fantastic Four are calling everyone they know to look for Spider-Man, Jameson is also pretty much just looking at the window trying to figure out whether or not he should just yell out to people on the street, even though he's like 50 feet above them or 50 stories above them. But freaking like there's one part where a spider.
Yeah, asking a random person on the street, "Where's Spider-Man?" It's like fucking walking up to a random person on the street now and being like, "Yo, hey, where's Tony Hawk?"
But here's the thing. So a spider freaking crawls down one of his windows, and he's like, then Jameson just goes, "Well, Ant-Man can speak with ants. I wonder." And he just starts yelling at the spider. And during all this, he told all of his people to not to bother him. So all of the editorial staff are in his doorway, listening to him and looking at him through a crack in the door, yelling at a spider. And then like 4 hours later, he comes out and he's like, "Fuck, the spider didn't respond." And they're like, "Hey, we've been beaten by everyone. Everyone's talking about how Spider-Man is beating up the Sinister Six," and he just goes, "Fuck." And then, that's pretty much where Jameson is left.
I love that he thinks that, like, if it were an ant, he'd think that the ant would answer back, because that's like, oh, well, Ant-Man clearly makes the ants talk? What?
I guess. But yeah, like there's all of classic, like there's all of funny shit in this, and I guess that may be why I liked it better, because like, you know, like the Avengers story, the old one, it was just the Hawk being miserable, and then he dresses up as a clown, and he's a miserable clown, pretty much. And then the other stuff was just Ultron stuff, and then, you know, like it showcased the character as well, but it wasn't like, I didn't find it as enjoyable, because I don't really like Ultron as an enemy.
Yeah,
and I just
the trouble is they gotta go with Ultron, because believe it or not, the classic Avengers Rogues Gallery is Ultron and a bunch of people who are way fucking lamer. Like, Marvel Rogues Gallery, for the most part, up until fairly recently, has been a few shining stars and a lot of stinkers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember the frog or whatever, the toad. Is that his name?
Yeah, the Toad is another one of those cases where, like, early on, nothing character, but he became a lot better later on.
Yeah.
A lot of the appeal to Toad is that he's a nothing character, so nobody expects anything out of him. And then they're like, "Who's behind the conspiracy? Who's done it all?" Toad?
And it's the Mario Toad.
Yeah. I did it. I killed them all.
Like when it comes to like
take me alive. He just whips out Uzis.
But yeah, like when it comes to the nothing villains, I feel like I like DC stuff more just because like Kite Man, pretty much. Like Kite Man is an enemy that is a joke when written wrong, and it is actually an interesting character when written right. So he works out either way. But
Yeah, it's pretty well always been like an agreement. Like it's pretty well been a meme among comic book people. Marvel has the better heroes, DC has the better villains.
yeah,
It's like obviously that is a very monolithic statement that is of course not correct. I would say Magneto and Doctor Doom are both better than the overwhelming majority of Marvel of DC villains. At the same time, I like Superman and not Batman, excuse me. But I like Superman or Swamp Thing or John Constantine better than I like a lot of Marvel heroes. So,
yeah.
every rule has its exceptions.
Indeed.
And then I don't know what closing thoughts I can have on this Spider-Man thing. I mean, I figure I feel like I also might be more inclined to praise this compilation just because Spider-Man is probably my favorite superhero overall.
Yeah.
Because like when my superhero, like most of my superhero knowledge is anchored around Spider-Man.
Or Batman. You seem to know a fair bit about Batman.
So yeah, Spider-Man and Batman are my two, like Spider-Man and Batman are the two big superheroes overall. So those are the two that I grew up like watching their animated stuff. And,
Yeah.
And I like, funnily enough, I've said this before, but like I think the thing that separates the two for me is that like Batman I didn't like enough to actually buy any of his comics. I technically own 3 Spider-Man issues. It was 3 completely different lines, but like I have read Spider-Man comics before this that like properly printed and all.
Yeah.
But yeah, like another thing is that like I like other characters, but they tend to be the less favored ones that are more pushed to the side. Cause like I like for DC, I like the Flash, but the Flash isn't really that interesting. Let's be honest. Like I just think his power is cool. And for other characters, like I like Martian Manhunter. I've actually been thinking about why, and like the conclusion that I've reached is that Martian Manhunter to me is like Superman done right. Which I mean, that's partially because I haven't read versions of Superman that I liked, but that's probably those probably exist. But
well, like, modern media has not been going out of its way to show you good Superman either. So
yeah. But like to me, one of the big things that makes them similar but different is that Martian Manhunter is pretty much, from what I understand, as powerful as Superman, but Kryptonite kind of needs to be shoehorned into to weaken Superman, whereas fire is everywhere, and you can logically, feasibly make it anywhere. Like
yeah, I mean,
yeah.
The other weakness Superman has though is magic, and that's fucking everywhere in DC.
Oh, true. I didn't even know that he's weak to magic.
Yep. Anything that is magic of any kind affects him the same way it would a normal human being. His invincibility doesn't apply.
Ah. Okay, that does change things, yes.
There's a very good moment in Kingdom Come, which is probably my favorite Superman story of all time, where Wonder Woman gets very angry with him, and without realizing, she accidentally flicks her sword and cuts his hand wide open.
Ah. Must have been weird for Superman that he'd actually been wounded for once.
Yeah, but when you get beaten to death, I think, and come back from it, I think you're eventually just get used to it.
Yeah, true.
Hey guys, do you know what getting beaten to death feels like? Not great.
You probably shouldn't try it.
The use of my death have been greatly exaggerated.
Yeah.
But I did need to become a communist to come back though. It has its ups and downs. Wasn't that son even before he came back to life? I forget.
Red Sun was definitely after. Red Sun was in the 2000s. It was written by Mark Miller, who is a super 2000s writer.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Probably one of the only good storylines Mark Miller ever did, to my understanding. Civil War has its upsides and its downsides.
Lots of downsides.
Yeah.
Lots of downsides, yeah. Who wrote Identity Crisis?
I feel like that was Jeff Johns, but I'm not certain.
Really? I actually like Identity Crisis. That'd be weird. Not to say that Identity Crisis is some great work of art. It kind of is just taking storylines that haven't been done with superheroes and doing it with superheroes.
But
No,
yeah,
no, I'm very wrong about that. That's just the go-to name. So,
Shit, Jeff Jones
Brad
probably would have been
Meltzer.
Brian Felter? Wow, he didn't write anything else, did he?
No, Brad Meltzer.
Oh,
I
Brad
don't know
Meltzer.
Brian.
I also have never heard of Brad Meltzer before.
Nor have I. He doesn't
Well,
even
Identity
have a
Crisis was a
Wikipedia
very
article,
controversial
so-
story.
No, here. Do. So he's actually more of a novelist than the actual comic writer.
I see.
Explains a lot.
Yeah, it does, because Identity Crisis is very much not your usual superhero story.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes that works out, though. Like, Dan Abnett mostly just writes Warhammer novels, but, like, he wrote the great Guardians of the Galaxy run. You know, the Guardians of the Galaxy as we know them were effectively made by Dan Abnett. So, fucking worked out there.
Indeed.
Anything else, Eddie?
Yeah, so I wanted to finish up the thing of, like, you know, there's like, I like some other superheroes than Spider-Man and Batman, but, like, because comics availability is non-existent or was never non-existent as I was growing up, and also, like, overall freaking the way that characters have been exposed, the characters I like are either very like obscure and they don't really get their own runs, like Carnage. Which, I mean, I can understand why Carnage doesn't get his own run because he became a fucking elder god, but, you know. I still don't like that. Like, shit. Anyway, yeah.
All this involvement of the symbiotes with the cosmic stuff pisses me off severely.
Yeah.
What is the name of that stupid symbiote god?
I wanted to call it the Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight.
It's Batman. He's the god of the symbiotes.
That is forbidden.
Just you wait until Peter has to face off against his biggest enemy yet, the Joker who laughs, or whatever, the Batman who laughs.
Oh, God. Okay. Do any of you guys remember from that Web of Shadows game, Symbiote Wolverine?
Kind of.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what Symbiote Batman would look like pretty well.
I mean, but we've already seen Batman Wolverine, so we have a stepping stone.
God, amalgam universe. We're stepping from comic book thing that pisses me off to comic book thing that pisses me off here.
Yeah.
Which credit where credit is due. I say this every time amalgam comes up. There was one really cool idea the amalgam universe had. Combining the Joker and Sabretooth to make the hyena. That was a cool idea. I gotta admit.
It works so well.
It does. It's just perfect, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, so like the characters are like tend to be like not that well favored in their own lines, or even if they get a good line, it gets fucking ruined. Deadpool. Why?
Yeah. Yep. What you're seeing is the classic comic book problem of new writer has new idea to give the character an arc to take him into a place that improves him as a character, but the next writer didn't want to write that version of Deadpool. They wanted to write the previous version of Deadpool. So they revert all the character storyline stuff.
Yeah.
So all of Deadpool's art gets undone because the next guy wanted to write black comedy, ha-ha, Family Guy Deadpool. Peter Griffin Deadpool, really.
Yeah.
It's a vicious cycle.
It really is. Like, how many fucking times have we seen good character development turned back? Like, the most egregious one I can think of for DC right now is, oh my God, like, what the fuck did they do with John Kent? Like, seriously.
What did they do with him? What happened?
They made him an adult.
They aged fucking Brian Michael Bendis aged him up to make him an adult.
That's right.
Did he go into the hyperbolic time chamber?
I guess so. It was the stupidest fucking thing. I remember there was a comic book panel. Someone else got to do Superman for a little bit, and they had a bit where Superman, goes down to Pa Kent, and they commiserate for a little bit, and then Pa Kent is like, "Oh, and by the way, son, yeah, Dad, what the fuck happened to my grandson?"
But is Damian Wayne still a child?
Yeah. So they can't do Super Sons anymore. They can do. They're still doing Super Sons, but now they're all flashbacks.
Ah.
Because otherwise, it's stupid adventures of an adult and a little kid who don't have any relation.
So does that mean that the chances of Damian Wayne's Teen Titans when it's all Ra's al Ghul's ninjas improves?
Oh God! Right, I forgot about Damien's Titans. Jesus Christ!
Yeah. The one thing I remember about, I was joking about that, and then the thing that makes me remember it forever probably is just the idea of there being a Teen Titans run where it's Damian Wayne and then Ra's al Ghul's ninjas because everyone hates Damian, and so for Beast Boy they just have a bunch of animals painted green. Like the
Count
yeah.
Zoo Exhibit Teen Titan.
Yeah. But
I feel
anyway,
like
yeah.
you could just get a carrot and put a wig on it.
Oh yeah, I like how they run down in this competition. They run down Peter's history to pretty much freaking today, from what I can tell. Like the things that the last thing they talk about is Spider Island, which I don't know when that was, but
about 8 years ago.
So nothing's happened with Peter, I guess, in 8 years.
Well, after that, he went Superior for a little while.
Well, there's Superior, and then there's Parker Industries, and now Parker Industries is gone, and whoever's in charge of Spider-Man now is doing everything they can to undo everything that's happened since One More Day.
From what I heard, that writer has been taken off of the thing and he left the story. Like he started on doing One More Day, and then he was like, nah, and just put in his own OC.
Well, the problem is, whoever's doing it now, whoever undid Sins Past, said explicitly on Twitter or Discord or something, explicitly said, I am trying my damnedest to get Mary Jane Watson back, but the editorial is fighting me for every inch.
Ah, yeah, I remember. I remember.
Joe Quesada!
But I feel like it's kind of showing that in the summary, every single major plot beat that Peter has had in freaking 50 years gets one big part that they explain what happened and shit like that. Like even Civil War is only twice as long as the other ones, and then there's not one but two whole chapters dedicated to One More Day.
Yep.
Because they even cut it up. One of the background for One More Day is called Deal with the Devil. I don't know if that was a separate story or if that's what they call it. And then there's also One More Day next to it for you to read about, because they definitely did not read Spider-Man. Hey.
I do not. All I know about the One More Day storyline is Kingpin has Aunt May shot. Peter makes a deal with the devil. Bye bye baby. Bye bye Mary Jane. Bye bye public identity.
I read One More Day. So here's the thing.
Oh, you poor son of a bitch.
Yeah, here's the thing. So back a couple of years ago when I read Comics Online, I started up one of Spider-Man's runs. The main run, technically, I guess, because that's the one More Day was in. But I started up that run because I tried a couple of lines, I tried one of the Ultimate lines, and I saw Miles' friend, and I was like, you know what? No, actually, no, I don't care. And then I started up a couple of older ones. I would I would just look up what people recommended for good stories, which is how I read Kraven's Last Hunt, and I searched at what was technically canon for Spider-Man, which run, and I started that maybe at the start, I forget. But I remember I reached one more day, and I was and like I don't think they name dropped it as that story immediately, but I read like 2 pages, and I was like, this is fucking one more day in it. And then I finished the story, and then I finished that issue, and then I stopped reading Spider-Man.
Yes. You saved yourself a lot of trouble there, because that.
No, actually, I read 1 issue after that, and immediately the writer started getting Peter together with the insert of his daughter.
Yeah, Joe Quesada's daughter. Yes.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? No, actually, I don't think I care about Spider-Man after all. Apparently the writers don't. So why should I?
Yeah.
But yeah. So technically, I have read One More Day. I can't really tell you what happens exactly because it's been a while, and I tried my best to forget. I think you can understand. All I remember that all I remember.
Remember how earlier I said I'd be cool with Venom?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that the one thing I remember is the one panel that everyone posts of Peter in hell standing next to Mephisto, and they're about to freaking do the fetus deletus. But I remember that panel because everyone posts that when One More Day comes up.
Yep. You know how earlier I said I'd be fine if Venom ate Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. What we need to just set up a buffet for Venom of all the shitty Spider-Man characters that have been introduced since One More Day.
Silk.
No.
And then after that, we retcon Eddie into never eating anyone ever again.
Yeah.
That'll work.
But no, here's what they should do. The Venom symbiote should jump off, like the Venom symbiote should say it's hungry, jumps off Eddie back onto Mac, and then it eats all the characters I don't like, and then it jumps back to Eddie.
No. Venom says he's hungry. The Venom symbiote jumps off of Eddie Brock. Eddie Brock eats all of the characters we don't like, and then the Venom symbiote goes back on Eddie Brock.
I had Silk's liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
I'm imagining this comic series is freaking like Eddie Brock kills the spider clones, and it's just the cover is Man Spider trying to run away, but Brock is actively eating one of his legs.
Eddie's got a fork and a knife in either hand, and he's got a bib around his neck.
It's like Ben Reilly, Man Spider, Silk. I don't know any of the other clones by name. Just fucking
Ben Reilly gets away. Ben Reilly gets away with it by stuffing a bunch of hamburger into a spider suit and just leaving that as a decoy.
Yeah.
Not even like shaped like Ben Reilly properly. It's just awkwardly crammed ground beef into a spider suit.
You mean like that one time that freaking Yokozuna did the banzai drop to Jake's snake?
Yeah. And enough meat for 10 snakes fucking just burst out of the sack.
and the Valkyrie said Eddie can also eat all of the symbiote kids.
Yeah, there we go. All of them except Carnage. Carnage can stay.
Yeah, Carnage can stay. Carnage has potential to be an interesting character. I mean, like, freaking... Genuinely, we only need one thing to make I nearly called him garbage. Kind of.
I'd like to see that. That's a new symbiote kid right there. Garbage.
Garbage. That's Danny DeVito symbiote. Garbage. He's trash.
Life Foundation symbiotes is gone, so Riot and Phage had to find a new one to fill out the team.
But yeah, like what I was trying to say is that for Carnage, all you need to do is that if you want to give him his own comic or just make him a recurring character, make him be really awkward and turn him into a good guy for no reason. Just make him.
You mean what they did during Axis?
Yes. Yes, I just want the awkward hero Carnage back because he was actually like he wasn't more of a character, but he was at least interesting. Like you could have actually done something with him. Whereas like villain Carnage, from the way he's been written for a while, is not like they could just make him the Joker.
Joker.
I mean, yeah, but he's not even that because at least the Joker like does interesting traps. Carnage just eats you. Like.
Does Carnage eat people?
Yes, I think Carnage eats people.
Is that a new thing too? Because back in the day, part of the thing was Cletus had absolute control of the symbiote because he doesn't give a shit.
But yeah, but Cletus would probably eat people.
Yeah, but he was more interested in just splattering their blood on the walls and writing "Carnage." Oh. But yes, I do know that, like, with that storyline where Carnage becomes a god, he achieves it by eating the other symbiotes.
Yeah.
Or rather, eating past hosts of the symbiotes.
Well, but the thing with that story as well is that, like, I don't remember exactly who he eats. Like, I know that I think he ate both Flash and Eddie, which is unfeasible, because after that Eddie got his own story as Venom. And then somehow he ate Carnage, who was already a god by then. He ate Carnage to become the symbiote god himself.
So Flash is bad. So Flash is dead. Okay.
Yeah, Flash is dead. Eddie has a son who is part Venom now. But where he's
fuck.
Yeah, and then Eddie is also god. Like Eddie. Carnage summoned the actual symbiote god, the something or other in black.
Okay.
I don't remember.
I'm about to say the most cursed words I thought imaginable. Eddie Brock needs a one more day.
Maybe. Delete us. Yeah, so
we got ourselves a 26th trimester abortion here.
Yeah. So, like, what happened, from what I understand, is, so Carnage became kind of a god, a symbiote god, and then he started trying to get all the symbiotes so that he can summon the actual symbiote god, which is a multi-universal thing. So it's basically like Galactus, more or less, but maybe more powerful. I forget, but yeah. So that Carnage summoned the god. Oh no, Carnage was trying to summon the god. Eddie was trying to stop him. And then Eddie ate Carnage, or ate the symbiote of Cletus, or something like that, to try and stop Cletus from summoning stop summoning the god. But that's actually what Cletus wanted, because if all of the symbiotes converge, then, or, become one again, I guess, then the symbiote god is summoned regardless. So Eddie ended up summoning the symbiote god accidentally. So after that, he just ate the symbiote god as well. And now he's God. And there's just like, you know how you know how in Naruto always has shadow clones running around doing the errands because he needs to be doing paperwork. That's what Eddie Brock is doing right now.
Oh,
there's just a million Venom clones of Eddie going around in either in Venom suit or outside of it. Really, like he just makes the symbiote look like him, like his normal body, and then just walk all over the place. And like I don't even remember where he's supposed to be. Like from what I remember, he has like his fortress of solitude that Captain America went to, like, yo dude, you're like a god, could you help? And he was like, let me check. Oh wait, I'm a clone. I don't know. and then hard cut to where Eddie actually is. And Eddie, like the actual normal body of Eddie, is somewhere in New York eating freaking hamburgers with Peter. He's also like 70.
What the fuck?
And both of them are, by the way, like, Eddie is not in suit because he doesn't need to be, and Peter is if I remember correctly, in his normal Spider-Man get up with the freaking the thing raised so he can eat. And they're just sitting in a diner eating, and Peter is like, "Are you sure that this does not stop you from working?" And Eddie's like, "Nah, I'm a god. It's cool."
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And
Now that I think about it, though, it is weird that Captain America doesn't go to Venom, like call up Venom for more help more often, because didn't they work together during Maximum Carnage?
I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah, that's another one
Yeah.
I read actually. Now that you say it, I did actually read Extreme Carnage. I remember that there was this like female character that was really weird because she never appeared in anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, Maximum Carnage was pretty well Spider-Man, Venom, Cloak Dagger, Captain America, and a bunch of jobbers.
Yep. But
The
yes,
ultimate superhero team.
Yeah.
Why the fuck is Captain America here?
why not? He had a Saturday off.
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, with Captain America always seeming to like Captain America has just become, I guess, the guy at Marvel who's like always giving shout outs to the guys who are a bit too edgy for the rest of the Avengers. So it is weird he doesn't call on Venom more.
But I also want to point out that Captain America went from what the fuck is a Spider-Man to freaking being in a story where there's like 30 of him in Maximum Carnage.
Well, look, somewhere around the time that Nazi Captain America was running around, he got humbled, okay?
But yeah, the last thing I wanted to bring up about the freaking the Venom shit that they have going on apparently right now is that there was one clone of Eddie that he was like, okay, so this part of Venom is now a dog. Your job is to protect my son because Eddie has a son, and apparently the symbiote bonded with Eddie's son's DNA. So now his son is technically also a wielder of the Venom symbiote, even though everyone's a wielder, or like even though his father is the Venom symbiote now. Because it's not the Venom symbiote that's the symbiote god. It's Eddie Brock. Eddie Brock ate the god.
At what point is Venom just a fucking stand?
He's already just a stand. But like he's Venom is a remote control stand that has its own freaking thing, its own conscious, like Spice Girl did.
So,
Venom's a mixture of sheer heart attack and Spice Girl.
and how does this tie into the movies? Because I know this has to tie into the movie somewhere. How does it?
Venom is God.
Okay, fair enough.
It works for me.
Okay,
so
what
yeah.
the fuck, El Fatty? Oh Jesus!
And I mean, this was all comics talk. I didn't
I
do
know.
anything.
I know it's been like this whole fucking podcast has been comic talk, like 2 hours of it.
I wanted to do say something as a closing thought. Let me open this up real quick and take a look. Oh yeah, was there some weird freaking localization that I wanted to bring up, because I feel like kind of, but not really. It's mostly fine. The Spider-Man Rogues Gallery is actually translated rather well. I do find it weird that the first enemy that they bring up for him, because there's this spread of Spider-Man fighting all of his villains, more or less, and the first one they point at is Morbius.
Oh, well, if he's the first in the spread, I guess. Which, realistically speaking, if I was going to put Morbius anywhere on a spread, I'd put him on the fringes so he doesn't take up the actual important spots. And generally speaking, that's the first one to get listed. So, man, fuck Morbius.
Yeah, he's Jared Leto, so he sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, the last thing that I wanted to bring up is how even Marvel understands that there's the thing where they shield their other comics from the characters that they made the compilations of, and it's like, oh, Spider-Man Far From Home or whatever the fuck. I don't like. Oh no, it's Going Home or something. Coming Home. There we go. I like having to search for the original title on the like very small issue covers that they have in this. Because it's translated. But yeah, like they are freaking advertising that and a Spider Island. At the same time, they also have the Birth of Venom and Kraven's Last Hunt. And like if you want to read Spider-Man, read Kraven's Last Hunt. I think it only actually has 20% Spider-Man, but the 80% is Kraven's dick, and that makes up for it.
Yeah.
I mean, Kraven's Last Hunt was freaking like genuinely a good story though, from what I remember.
Yeah. I have not read it, but it is very much one of the ones that's on my list.
Like if I remember correctly, and that's why I said it's only like 20% Spider-Man, because it's another one of those one-off stories where they introduce the story with Spider-Man and then we start following another character. And I tend to like those because you know usually you're gonna follow Spider-Man, so it's nice to have a change.
Yeah.
And from what I remember, it's more like most of the comics is just Kraven remembering how he can never beat Spider-Man, and then he has flashbacks to those so we can have action scenes. And Kraven is remembering his fights with Spider-Man, and then he goes, "Man, my life sucks," and then he strips naked and then shoots himself in the head with a shotgun.
Oh.
So yeah.
Okay, that made me think about how, like, I don't know why, but it made me think about how, like, I really only consider Born Again to be the only good Daredevil storyline for me, or at least the only one I like. Hank, what are some other examples of comic book characters that only have, like, one really good storyline?
That is an excellent question. I don't know if I have any examples off the top of my head. I can definitely start thinking about that, though.
Deadpool's Redemption run, would we count that?
Yeah, I would.
I would not, because it's at the moment in our time, it doesn't have that same legacy that those previous two examples have.
I mean, it doesn't have.
Everyone knows Kraven's Last Hunt. Everyone knows Daredevil's what was it called, Born Again.
Born Again, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have the legacy,
It's
but
there's nothing at a Watchmen type level yet, where everybody knows it. Everyone knows it's a classic, even if they've never read it. There's nothing like that currently for a Deadpool.
And that's what
it doesn't help that they keep flip flopping with that.
That's what I was going to say. That like it doesn't have the legacy, but at the same time, it's the one Deadpool story that's good. Like out of all of the out of like the 3 or 4 runs that he's had, I've read through 2 or 3 of them. Like I've read half of Deadpool's runs, I think, and that story that where he redeemed himself was the only good one. So like I don't know, like to me it makes sense to say that's a character defining story just because it's the only good one he has. It's the one thing you want him to be defined by.
Have there been any really good Hal Jordan stories at any point?
Not really, not that I can think of.
I wouldn't know.
The funny thing with Hal Jordan is that his most notable story is him freaking dying and creating a new character after that.
Well, not just dying, but killing everyone else first.
Right, yeah.
Like
the Spider-Man way.
It's canon.
Yeah, we got Captain Marvel. He's famous for dying. Then we've got Hal Jordan. He's famous for killing everyone and then dying.
Yeah. Yeah, Captain Marvel's a good example. There's not really any good Captain Marvel Marvel storylines except for the death of Captain Marvel.
Yep.
I'm just imagining freaking like I'm now imagining Hal Jordan going around the universe killing everyone with a projection of a Bowflex.
That's kind of what happened.
I see. Did he also lock people into the crossface while doing that?
That may have been how he got Kilowog. I don't know. Oh, man. Off the top of my head, I'm struggling to think of comic book characters. I'll be honest, Swamp Thing, only really the Alan Moore run. Nothing
Very
else.
true.
Nothing else Swamp Thing has done has ever been important or good.
I mean, do we consider character defining stories where it's only like one of them when it's like it used to be a story that was really defining but not definite, but at the same time has become the definite answer, kind of. Because like you could like I feel like obviously my exposure is limited, but I feel like you could argue that the Killing Joke is the one Joker story that defines the Joker. To his detriment now, but you know.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can
but I'd
absolutely
say-
do that.
Yeah, but I'd say Joker's had good storylines other than Killing Joke.
Very true.
Batman's a real weird character, where broadly I would say Batman is a bad character, but Batman has a lot of fantastic stories, you know?
Absolutely.
Like, broadly, I think writers like Batman is more poorly written, like, way more than he's written well, but at the same time, Nightfall, The Long Halloween,
Yeah.
Batman Year One,
Yeah.
the list goes on, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a bit biased for Batman just because whenever I think about Batman in the actual comics, like I don't think about like I could think about the actual Western comics that I read of Batman because I did read a couple of them, but they were around the time of the New 52 and like around the time that the New 52 was discontinued and they reset the universe again. So
Yeah, Rebirth.
oh yeah, Rebirth.
That actually.
But but like the one thing that like it doesn't define Batman to me, but it is one of the big things that I remember about him is reading the 60s Batman manga, and there's just like very 60s way drawn Batman with a fucking gun. He just shoots the Kingpin or something like that.
Kingpin crosses over universes just to get fucking murdered.
Like I feel like I remember him shooting a Kingpin like guy. Like, but I don't think it was the Penguin because I feel like I would remember the Penguin. That's the weird part. Like it may have been a Japanese only villain.
Well, there was Tobias Whale, but I'm not sure Tobias existed in the 60s. Has Tobias Whale always been a Black Lightning villain, Pink?
I would like to say yes.
I don't think Black Lightning was introduced until the 70s.
Yep.
So Tobias Whale wouldn't have existed back then. And
But
Tobias
I
Whale
don't know if it was actually 60s that Batman manga series. Let me check.
It might have been Tobias Whale then. Batman's fought Tobias Whale from time to time. Like, really, Tobias Whale is just DC's ripoff of Kingpin. The only, like, real difference is that, at least in the Black Lightning TV show, he's albino and is incredibly racist against black people.
Right.
Which, is that a thing in the comics, Pink?
I don't know.
I'll look it up.
Do we know when this came out though? I have found the run, the Batman manga run that I read. Okay, so it's called the Jiro Kubata Bat manga, and it was released in the West in 2008. But I haven't found yet when it was released originally. All right. (1966) 1966 to 1967 is when it ran. So I was right. It was the 60s Batman manga.
Okay, Tobias Whale was made in 1970. Was created in 1977, and in the comics, he is a albino African American. I thought they had made that up for the show. I'm surprised that he is that in the comics as well.
Yeah, albinism isn't really, or wasn't really, something that writers took into account back then, I wouldn't think. That's nifty.
Yeah, but it is a classic writing thing to have an evil albino.
I guess that's true, yeah.
I got to sneeze.
Sneeze already!
Bless you.
Gesundheit.
But yeah, so apparently reading this thing's Wikipedia page after the Adam West series got translated to Japanese, People started really liking Batman in Japan, so they were like, all right, we're gonna make a Batman manga. We're gonna license out Batman. We're gonna make a manga of Batman. It's just gonna be the TV show, but in manga form, which explains why Batman looked really funny and also had a gun. Which I mean, that's not to its detriment, because it was obviously of its time, that series, the manga series, but I enjoyed it more than Rebirth. Well, most of Rebirth. I mean,
I did not read. I did not read any of Batman Rebirth except for All Star Batman, which is way better than the other comic it was named for.
Well, I read I think normal Batman Rebirth. There may have been a separate Detective Comics Rebirth or something like that. There were 3 different Batman series going at the same time in Rebirth, and I read most of them.
Well, Detective Comics Rebirth wasn't about Batman, if memory serves. It was about Batwoman and her team of various reformed villains and sidekicks. That's one that,
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no. I was just going to say that's the one that introduced heroic Clayface, which is, I think, still the thing. They haven't turned him back into a villain yet, incredibly.
Yeah, I do remember Clayface being a thing. But
like 5 years of a villain staying heroic has got to be a record. Alongside, like, was it not like 4 or 5 years that Wolverine stayed dead?
Yeah, that was a significant amount of time.
Yeah, because fuck Fox. The only way that could have happened.
Yeah. But yeah, like I remember I read separately the Nightwing Rebirth, because he got a Comic Con that was bad. Well, it wasn't completely shit. It was just like not good, really.
Dan DiDio hates Dick Grayson.
Yeah. So that one.
And he's gone now. Ding dong, the witch is dead.
And there was like one like there was like 2 or 3 separate Batman series, and he also sometimes showed up in detective comics and stuff like that. So that's probably why I remember it, because because as you said, comics are made for these big compilations. They were just like, all right, so we're going to start this story, and parts 3 and 4 are also going to be in this series, but to read the second part, you need to go to Detective Comics issue 154. And I was like, okay, cool. I don't like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so freaking like during that run, the only thing I remember is that if I remember correctly, there was a story. Wait, that might be Injustice, because I also had the Injustice comics series around that time, because I was like, yeah, whatever, it's there.
Yeah.
But I remember there being a story of Batman for whatever reason. Like, Batman was not given enough time to prepare, so he was like, he was pretty much just like taking the Batwing across the countryside and beating up people, or something like that. And I remember liking that story and whatever happened around that time. Apparently not enough to actually remember what was going on, but I remember I liked it at the time. But overall, it was like most of Rebirth, or most of early Rebirth, was just like Batman doing Batman things, and then also Flashpoint is happening. Why?
Flashpoint was unhappening, is what was happening there, actually.
Yeah, Flashpoint was unhappening, but yeah.
So there was all kinds of weird shit, like Roy Harper gets his daughter Leanne back, and it's like, wait, this universe version of Roy didn't even have Leanne to begin with. Oh no, wait, but he did, because New 52 couldn't decide how much they wanted to get rid of.
Yeah.
Man, remember that shit, Red Hood and the Outlaws, where it's like simultaneously Flashpoint caused Starfire to forget she was ever a Teen Titan and also become a sociopath who just wants to fuck. But Red Hood and...
Oh no, he got out.
Oh no.
Red Hood and...
There we go.
Oh no!
Okay.
Okay, I'm back. Yeah, Red Arrow somehow remembers everything from pre-Flashpoint because we need to keep the fucking trauma of him losing his daughter, I guess. And then he takes advantage of his friend who has amnesia to have sex with her. And it is not at all
Video hates
surprising.
Dick Grayson, but I feel like everybody hates Roy.
Roy. Well, I appreciate that Roy is one of the few characters in DC whose job is to be a screw up. Roy is a Marvel character who accidentally walked into DC. Like, Roy would fit into the Avengers just fine. Honestly, Roy's more of a screw up than Hawkeye is. So really, they should just trade places.
Honestly, yeah.
That's what the egg does.
Yeah. That's what we'll see after all these years of them keeping the egg. Is just Roy just touches it on accident while he's reaching for his heroin needle and gets teleported to the Marvel Universe in place of Clint.
Yeah. And then Hawkeye forces the DC Avengers. The DC Coast Avengers. Because
technically, Hawkeye is a member of the Justice League, so he's just like he hangs around with them for an issue or two before deciding they're cramping his style. Time for West Coast Justice League.
No, he's still with the West Coast Avengers.
Justice League is in fucking space.
He builds a small like boat off of the watchtower to the west side, and he calls it the West Coast Avengers. I wish Hawkeye.
We're going to be in for some shit when we see the Great Lakes Justice League. That would be Ambush Bug's team.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. To me, it's funnier if it's funnier that Hawkeye goes to DC and he joins the Justice League. He doesn't like them, so he just makes up he makes smaller parts of the Justice League, but he still calls them the Avengers. He's just that attached. It's not his team if it's not the Avengers.
Oh man, that was a long fucking comic talk.
Yeah. Let's quickly send this episode to Mike. He'll like it.
Yeah. Oh man. But
hey, we haven't talked about how the Mandarin isn't used in freaking Iron Man 2 or whatever.
But he is in Shang-Chi now.
Yeah.
Everything works out in the end.
Honestly, I thought like there have been multiple times when freaking comics talk was started up by that person again, and people would be asking him why, and I've been tempted multiple times to just write because we haven't talked about the Mandarin in 2 days.
That most recent.
Yeah.
That most recent time where it started up in the comic books thread again, I just posted that fucking gif from The Simpsons. You can stay, but I'm leaving.
But like the thing is that it's not even usually like new shit, because like we bring up all shit like the freaking the Damian Wayne's Teen Titans where it's freaking when Beast Boy is just a zoo and shit like that, but like we discussed like even in today's thing we discussed storylines that we haven't really discussed all that much, and then also One More Day and Craven's Last Hunt, because if you talk about Spider-Man you need to bring those up. But yeah, we have actual discussions about old storylines. We don't just go and ask Ted, "Hey, what do you think about this news?" And Ted's like, "I think it's stupid." And then you're like, "No, but I think it's cool." And not even like ask Ted about the news. We don't go up to going, "Hey Ted, what do you think about the Mandarin and Mr. Negative?" Like it's just specifically those two.
Yeah. And asking about Mr. Negative is always going to be a stupid one to fucking ask, because Ted doesn't want anything to do with modern Spider-Man. Of course he thinks Mr. Negative is going to be fucking stupid. Regardless of whether the character is actually any good, you know?
Yeah. Wait, Mr. Negative is a new character?
Yeah, Mr. Negative was introduced as part of shit. What was the comic book line? What was the stupid storyline they did that was supposed to like make up for One More Day? What was it called? Pink, you'd remember.
I don't remember.
Oh shit. Well, there was some like It was something like it was like something your vows, renew your vows, or something like that, where they implied that Peter and Mary Jane were going to get back together, but they actually didn't. No, brand new day. That's what it was. Brand new day. So that was the stuff that was immediately following One More Day, but before Spider Island or fucking Superior Spider-Man. And they just tried to make up for One More Day by introducing a whole bunch of new villains, and Mr. Negative was the only one that stuck.
I don't see why though, because like I thought I completely like I didn't know Mr. Negative existed before the PS4 game, and I was like, well, obviously he's like one of the very minor villains from the 60s because he's just so fucking lame. Why would they make him now? Like this is like Mr. Negative. Yes. Go ahead.
The simple answer is that all of Spider-Man's villains are white.
I mean, you can have more like I don't know. To me, like I guess I get it, but like, you know, to me, a villain should be interesting first.
Yeah.
Like there's so many interesting things you can do with even just Asian culture if you want an Asian villain. Like you could have a guy.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Is Mr. Negative Korean or Japanese?
I don't know.
I don't either. At first I heard Korean.
I think
I heard Korean, but every time they have Mr. Negative, he's got fucking samurai yakuza for minions, and it's like, what the fuck? Why?
Now, here's the thing. I can only judge by the way he was portrayed in Spider-Man PS4, but from the way he was portrayed in Spider-Man PS4, Mr. Negative is Chinese because his people are triads, and
But don't they have like magic katanas?
Well, the sword that would become the katana is of Chinese origin, if I'm not mistaken. So technically, you can freaking hand wave it a bit.
I guess, but isn't his name Mr. Park?
Which ones? Because maybe the comics one, but I don't think. What?
Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee was his name.
Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee.
Lee is a Chinese name, yes.
Yeah, that and also like they literally say that something you can't really report, like in the Spider-Man PS4 story. If you do all of Mr. Negative's stuff, I don't know if it's actually like story things or if it's just side content blabber, but like I feel like Peter and Mary Jane are talking about trying to get the cops to actually show up, or no, it's what's her face, the cop lady. She's talking with Spider-Man, and she's like, we can't really just bust down like some random freaking dudes like factories and shit, and Spider-Man's like, but he's obviously like importing people from China illegally.
Yeah.
So, you know, like from what I that and also like the whole yin yang thing and the freaking the masks are pretty Chinese from what I can tell. Then again, I'm not like
Chinese
an expert.
opera mask, right?
Yeah, and so like you know, I'm not the freaking well versed in Chinese culture, so I can't really tell. I'm not even the freaking well versed in Japanese culture, and that's the Asian culture I know the most of. So, but like, you know, all points, as far as I can tell, point to freaking to Chinese to me. But yeah, like even like with Chinese mythology, people would probably complain that it's freaking like overplayed or whatever. But like, you want an interesting villain, just have a guy who can turn into a fucking dragon. Like if you want to be not uncreative, at least be uncreative in a cool way.
You're describing exactly what Warhammer did.
Yeah.
I mean, Warhammer has an interesting freaking like reality just because freaking cars go faster if you paint them red, and that's a scientific fact.
Yeah. And what's the other one? Purple makes for the perfect camouflage, because when's the last time you saw a purple orc?
That's the source of Jax's power.
Yeah. The purple tattoos, that's why you had them put on.
Yeah. And then the reason, but it's only, but they're only partial tattoos. Like they're only actual like design tattoos, so that people will know where he is. Like the people he trusts.
Okay. Honest question. How many actually cool or interesting supervillains have been introduced in the last 10 years? Who is that? They introduced someone for Batman. I've not actually seen any of her storylines, but they introduced some like a black chick who seemed kind of interesting, but I don't remember her name or her powers. All I remember is what she looks like.
I might have seen her. When was she introduced?
It was fairly recent, 4 or 5 years, I want to say.
So technically, I may have seen her. Man, if only we knew her name.
Yeah. I think I've tried to look her up before, but I can't find her fucking name.
Batman villains. Give me all of them.
I'm just gonna straight up look up black Batman villains. in an incognito tab, of course.
No, I don't need Batman's greatest villains. I know them.
We want the ones that aren't well known.
Enemies of lesser renown. Yes.
Fucking Google black Batman villains. First result: Black Mask. Well, you're not wrong.
I suppose.
All right, yeah, Croc is black. I forgot about that. It's easy to forget about that.
He is green. You can't tell me otherwise.
Yeah. Oh, man. What the hell? Why is DC's villains database? Oh, no, never mind. Okay, I was confused for a second. I won't talk about that because I just made a very stupid assumption.
I like how one of the freaking the Batman villains on this list that I'm looking at is the gorilla boss of Gotham City. Cool.
The what?
The gorilla boss of Gotham City.
The gorilla boss?
Yeah. Holy shit! The junkyard dog.
What?
I mean, it's probably not the wrestler, but it would be really funny.
I just imagine him doing the fucking, like, crawling headbutts to Batman.
Yeah.
And Batman sells them super hard. Like, oh, no! Okay, I'm just going to look up Batman Black Woman, and what I'm probably going to get is probably fan art of Batman as a black woman, but I'm willing to try.
Look, even if you don't find the villain, at least the results will be hot. So hey, if you win some, you lose some.
Yep, it's just a black Batwoman. God damn it. Okay. Black female Batman side characters, please, for the love of God. Help me, Google. Oh, damn it. I just typed in Batman black female soda.
What?
I fat fingered the fucking search button. Oh, I did it again.
Batman black female soda?
Look, man, it's...
I want official Batman merch that is a soda, but only for black women.
Oh. Okay, list of Batman supporting characters on Wikipedia. Help me, Wikipedia. You're my only hope.
This is not good. That's not a good sign.
No. Oh no! There's so many side characters.
That's the issue I'm having. Yep.
That's what happens when you're around for like 80 years.
But I can see.
Really
it's frustrating because I can see the picture in my head. She's black woman. She's got an afro. Like, she's young. She's probably like a little older than a teenager.
Is it Queen Bee?
Shit. No, not Queen Bee. She's been around for like 50 years.
All right, I wouldn't know. I like how I'm looking at this list of just Batman villains now, and it's like Clayface 1, Clayface 2, Clayface 3, Clayface 4, Lady Clay, Clayface 5, the Clay Thing, Clayface 7 or 6, the Clay Thing 2, Clayface 8, Clayface 7, Clayface 8, Clayface of Japan.
Clayface with a vengeance.
Clayface 2, Clayfacer.
Yeah, Two Face. How did they not make a team up comic called that? With Clayface and Two Face.
Clayface 4, Tokyo Drift.
No, that already exists. There is a Clayface of Japan.
Damn it. Oh. Alfred's daughter. She's black, but that's not the character I'm thinking of. One of presumably many bastard daughters of Alfred, by the way.
When he's
not that man.
When he's not breaking Superman's back, he's getting some.
It's still my favorite. One of my favorite dialogues from any Batman comic was from an alternate universe or something, where Batman needs Alfred at some point, and Alfred's not there. And later on, Batman asks Alfred, "Hey man, where the fuck were you?" And Alfred goes, "Oh, I was visiting with a female acquaintance." And Batman says, "We're not gonna have to worry about any pissed off husbands, are we, Alfred?" And Alfred says, "You insult me, sir. Her husband was out on business."
Oh,
Fuck is Ghostmaker?
A gun. Ghostmaker is a gun.
Okay, so he's some new guy that was introduced in 2020. Okay. Oh man, how can you forget Joro?
I just want to point out this is already towards current search, but I just want to point out that there's a Batman villain. I think no, that's an anti-hero. Well, I don't know. Whatever. There's a Batman villain. I think that's called Onomatopoeia. And I have not.
That is Kevin. That is, oh my god. Oh, welcome to the shit pit. That is Kevin Smith's OC.
I can't. The picture I have of this character is cut off on the head, so I'm just imagining it's Don Glover.
So he's a serial killer, and his thing is that he makes the noise with his mouth of whatever weapon he's using.
Oh, that's stupid.
So whenever he stabs someone, he goes snick, or when he's shooting with a gun, he goes bang, 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 and other than that, he's completely mute.
That's stupid. Why?
This is from the same comic where Batman has loads and loads of sex with Kevin Smith's other OC woman, and Batman also claims that he had pissed himself during year one, during the coolest year one.
Ah, nice. By the way, you're a bit muffled. I don't know why.
He's being dragged away.
Batman doesn't want you to hear about how he pissed himself in year one.
I love this fucking Wikipedia list. Deceased Batman allies. First entry, dead man.
Oh, who would have figured?
Why is Lucius Fox listed as status unclear?
That is a good question.
Oh, Man-Bat's been able to stay a good guy for this long. That's incredible, actually.
I like
here's the...
Go ahead.
I'm going to look at Batman Rebirth new characters. I'll just look up his new Batman characters.
All right. There's a character called the Skin Talker, and I read the Skin Taker, and I was like, oh, cool. A guy, like, literally that one Joker gimmick is now an enemy.
There was I remember there was a villain once who...
Yo, there's a Batman villain just called the Swagman. He kills Batman with
What?
drip.
Oh, not
Yeah.
that sounds amazing.
He's really not. It's a 2008 villain apparently. Here's a picture. Bless you.
Desert.
Thank you, the gardener.
There's a Spagman.
Hang on, I think I found her. I think I found her.
Oh, her. Yeah, I
Okay.
remember seeing her.
She is a scientist working in the God Garden. Okay,
Sounds spooky.
that's actually kind of a promising start. Wait, okay, this may be a different character.
Oh.
This is wait, no, wait. Okay, so the Wikipedia entry, the wiki entry I'm looking at is a Asian woman who resurrected the Midnighter. Excuse me. Okay, hang on. Okay, so there doesn't seem to be a wiki entry on this actual chick, but let me just go ahead and grab the picture. Just for Pink's sake, since he's wondering who the fuck we're talking about here, probably. Okay, here we go. There, the gardener.
Aha.
So she's apparently a new villain, and her thing is that she's Poison Ivy's ex-girlfriend from college, who's more of a genius in botany than she is, and makes weird monsters out of plants. But
I can
unlike
see
Poison
that.
Ivy, yeah, unlike Poison Ivy, she's not actually part of the Green. So I guess that kind of limits her. Which that's a neat idea for a villain. I don't know if they actually write her well. Probably not. Oh shit! What was that? Hang on, give me a second.
All right.
Yeah.
Batman broken.
Again.
Yeah. Came back. So, Pink,
I'm not finished with you.
Pink, what are your thoughts on the Swagman?
On the swag man?
Yeah. He's
I don't know
underwhelming,
if
I'd
I
say.
like it or I hate it.
I mean, he's
The
just a,
name doesn't fit the bucket head.
yeah, he's a Tom Knight wearing a trench coat.
The trouble here is that the gardener has more swag than Swag Knight does.
Yeah.
Very
Swag
true.
noodle.
Although you have to remember the Swagman was created the Swagman was created in 2008.
My man. Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah. Swagman's power is that he gives freaking Batman's Batcalc an infection. Yeah, I'm reminded of that one panel. You know the one.
No, I don't.
The one where they drew Batman's dick for some reason.
Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, man.
So
All
yeah,
right.
yeah. I can't really freaking like. I don't think I could bring up any villain that was made recently that is memorable. I wouldn't say. Pink. Oh,
Nope.
yeah, you're even less exposed to modern comics than I am. So
What about that, the newest Ghost Rider, his serial killer ghost uncle?
I haven't heard about that. So I don't know.
All right. I guess we should probably wrap up the comic book talk.
Yeah.
All right. Did you do anything else this week, Addy?
No, I don't believe I did.
All right. For my week, I pretty well did fucking nothing. There's nothing to do out here, really, and especially without internet. And when I have had to use my internet, it's mostly been for school assignments.
That's lovely.
I find that I spend the rest of my time finding various ways to procrastinate doing school assignments. Off the top of my head, the only thing that I guess is really worth talking about is that I got a standing desk put in.
Ah,
Ooh.
It's pretty neat. Haven't quite got used to it yet, but I will eventually.
yeah, eventually.
I guess I've been dicking around a lot with Total War Warhammer mods, but there's nothing really new to say about that. All right, well, I guess that's my week. Exciting.
All right. I guess we can talk about arrangements for these videos and everything, because I'm also gonna be moving shit again. Every year, twice a year, I move my setup, not because I want to, but because I have to.
All right. Well, I suppose then, before we do that, we should call this a podcast.
Yeah.
Huh. Say bye. I see. I've got a gigantic loogie sitting in my throat.
Sounds uncomfortable.
Yeah. I'm going to step out right now to
Bye.
hawk it since